Amen. How's everybody doing? How are you, Dee? Good to see you up
I'm
here.
good. Happy birthday to the Marine Corps.
Yes, happy birthday to the Marine
A
Corps.
Marine texted me to remind me about the Constitution class today. So,
Awesome.
hmm
Marines are always looking out for us one way or the other.
yes, they sure are. They sure are.
Now, please keep Syria, Nigeria in prayer. A lot of Christians are being crucified, and it's just heartbreaking to hear. And excuse my voice, I'm coming down with something. I don't know if it's allergies.
Our stream's unavailable. We're not live right now.
What? They took
Yep.
us down?
Yep. They did. They did not like that song at all.
But it's showing time. All right, chat, tell me, are we live?
They are telling you. They said, oh no, she must have gotten
Oops,
knocked off.
some no
And I'm
go.
looking at my TV and it says stream unavailable. So,
Darn it. Okay,
yeah. I
what do I do? Uh, in
thought
this,
he'd come back soon. Like when it was CBC, he used to just come back a little bit, in a little bit, but I don't
and
remember.
it's showing the timer still going off. Okay,
Well, you're recording in StreamYard, so I don't know if you have to set up and. Oh, now we're back. Okay, we're back on TV. I can see on our TV we're back.
are we back?
Ask the chat. Can we get a 5 by 5? I see it on our TV, on my TV.
Okay, V Charming says, oh, hey. Okay, you just came up. Okay, yeah. Isn't that interesting? They didn't like that song. Hmm.
Well, that was by the original artist, wasn't it? Thank you, Echo.
I don't know because I went to covers and he came up, but that's
Hmm.
okay. We, y'all know what it was. We heard it. Hallelujah. Okay. Who do we got here tonight? Sorry about that, y'all. Every so often that happens. I'll probably get another warning.
Hmm.
It's all right.
Oh yeah,
Pepper
you
was
got no pity
playing.
for me. Absolutely zero. Not so much as gotten a. You've never got a channel strike, have you?
Not yet. Don't jinx me.
I'm not gonna. It's like you're supernaturally protected. I wouldn't worry.
Prepper 101, Meat Puppet, Cheryl, Echo, Anthony,
Good to see you,
Hustler,
Cynthia, Cheryl, everybody.
Ricky, Mary,
Ricky Life in the
Black
house.
Guy, Holy
I can see
Skunk.
Ricky. Is Ricky here?
Yeah, up at the very
Oh,
top.
that troublemaking guy from Colorado. That Ricky.
Sean, Mike B,
On. Oh no.
Steve. It's good to see all y'all here.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
be charming. Did I say Echo?
I
Echo,
don't
Echo,
know.
Echo. All right.
Right.
So I want to start out with I found something pretty interesting. Um, I'm going through my old cell phone, and Sherry, good to see you, hon. Yeah, pray for Sherry also, please. Um, anyway, I'm going through my old phone and have been finding a lot of things that I saved from 2021, and Well, Sean's already here, so maybe we better just go ahead save that for later, maybe. Okay.
Hello. What are we
Hey,
saving for later?
just some stuff I had found about acts and uh, interesting things that I
Acts
had
like
saved,
the Bible?
like the Patriot Act and the Freedom Act, and those that just some things that I had saved that I'll read them later. It's okay.
Okay. Great. I sent a second follow up to the first follow. There, there is some material that you can look at. I think it's an interesting conversation, to say the least, with our artificial friend over there at X. So
Yeah.
that'll be an interesting piece of material for later.
Be charming. Is it me reverbing like the whole stream, or is it just Sean? Please let me know because
Probably.
I am charging a phone, and I know that sometimes that can cause.
Yeah, but I'm notorious for phone issues. So I'm going to take my phone off the charger and see if this helps. Does that help?
Not getting any feedback.
Check, 5x5, Lima
Hello?
Charlie, all that good stuff.
Anyone out
I don't
there?
hear any problems on when I turn on the TV in the background, I'm not hearing any kind of reverberation from Sean at all.
Okay.
That's
I don't know
cool.
what the problem is. Yeah, it
Okay.
sounds fine to me. I don't
She
know.
said
That
it's
might.
fine.
Yeah.
I sent some fillers out to some of our assembly friends as well for this topic tonight, Bonnie, because it's one that's near and dear to my heart. So
Oh,
Thank
she's
you.
saying hi to Echo. Okay, got it,
Appreciate
B. I did no homework. I'm just here for support.
hey,
Lone
at least you're honest.
Oh, you know it.
Wolf.
Always. But I might know some things.
Yeah, we've been down this thing before. What I set up with Grok is I actually wanted the text of the three variations of the 13th, so we can look at those first and see everything that Grok thinks. But and I realized Grok that we're the one we're looking at. I'm like, huh. So then I asked Grok a different prompt, a different question, and it took the
Mm-hmm.
second reply for Grok to get on point with us. So that was interesting to see that our poor AI that we've had these kids out there programming is kind of sideways, not as well researched as we are. So it's
You're
a
roboting a
battle on
little
the
bit.
AI one. Yeah, I wasn't as close to the mic as I should be,
Still
but
roboting,
it's
honey.
going to be an
Just give
uphill
it a
battle on
second.
these AIs to actually respect the researchers and
What? You roboting, bro? Cannot understand.
Nope. Now he dropped.
Oh shit! I knew that was coming.
This is
You
hard.
can tell when much they're
Indeed.
about to drop.
How are you feeling, Dee?
I'm feeling fine. Thank you
Good.
for asking.
Well,
Yeah,
there was Mary was asking in chat
I
too.
see. That was very sweet of her. Hey, doggies. Hey, doggies.
So should I go ahead and read one or here
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
that's how I know the universe has a sense of humor, folks.
Yeah. It's the cold, maybe. The cold is freezing up.
Yeah, or they don't like us telling the truth about history versus what they want to pass off as history. So
Yes,
this is gonna
that's
this is one this is gonna be one of those hard ones, Bonnie, because we might get strikes left and right for telling the truth about what happened between the Articles of Confederation to the Civil War, and a very unique time in American history.
Mm. Well, I hope that doesn't happen, but I will work on a backup if I need to.
And I agree with you too. I'm hoping it doesn't kick in like that. Don't mind me.
Um,
I'm just opening up a snack in the background while we prep for tonight. So if you guys have a coffee or a sandwich, you might want to get it ready because this is going to be a pretty deep rabbit hole we're going down.
I think we'll be fine. We have talked about a lot of stuff here.
We love the
Uh,
rabbit holes. Is he afraid of
yeah.
that? Anything? No, we're fine. We love them. Bring them on.
Okay, so go to Grok and read the first one. You want me to?
Yeah, I would say read the first set of messages I had from Grok, and then I continued the conversation in the email that I sent that I called the second prompts. I don't
Okay,
want people to think I just say this stuff randomly. I like to get to the issues with as few prompts as possible. And like I said, we're going to show you what the mainstream American who doesn't know about their history might think if they were only to listen to AI, which in turn would program their mind and give them an inherent bias.
true.
Go for it.
And I can't see chat, so if any questions are asked, maybe y'all can answer them.
I'll watch for you, of
Thank you so much, Dee.
course.
Okay, the three proposed 13th Amendments to the United States Constitution prior to the ratification of the actual 13th Amendment in 1865, which abolished slavery. There were three notable failed proposals for a 13th Amendment introduced during a period when only 12 amendments had been ratified. These were all related to the issue of slavery and aimed at either protecting or curtailing it. They are often referred to collectively as proposed 13th Amendments in historical discussions of pre-Civil War constitutional debates. Below, I provide the exact text of each proposal along with brief context for clarity. Note that none were ratified and the numbering as 13th was prospective at the time. Arthur Livermore's Proposal 1818, introduced by Representative Arthur Livermore, Democrat from New Hampshire, on November 16, 1818, during debates over Missouri statehood and the extension of slavery. This was one of the earliest congressional attempts to ban slavery via constitutional amendment. It failed in committee and never reached a floor vote. There shall be neither slavery nor involuntary servitude in the said territory otherwise than in punishment of crimes whereof the party shall have been duly convicted. I think the book says due process. Do you want me to stop there? Keep on with John Quincy.
Keep on. I want people to see what they think
Okay.
were the 13th Amendment.
Okay. So then presented by former President John Quincy Adams, when a House member on January 23rd, 1839, was a multi-part resolution advocating gradual abolition, restrictions on slavery expansion, and its elimination in Washington, D.C. It was tabled amid fierce opposition and gag rules suppressing anti-slavery petitions. The core anti-slavery provisions were Every person born within the United States after July 4th, 1842, shall be forever free. With the exception of Florida, no new state shall be admitted into the Union with slavery. Neither slavery nor the slave trade shall exist in the District of Columbia after July 4th, 1845. And then the Corwin Amendment, 1861, introduced by Representative Thomas Corwin on February 26, 1861, and passed by Congress on March 2, 1861, as the last ditch effort to avert the Civil War by protecting slavery from federal interference. President-elect Abraham Lincoln endorsed it in his inaugural address. It was ratified by only a few states, Ohio, Maryland, Illinois, before the war began and became mute. No amendment shall be made to the Constitution which will authorize or give to Congress the power to abolish or interfere with any state with the domestic instructions thereof, including that of persons held to labor or service by the laws of said state. So you sent another one after this, is that correct?
You are correct. I want to pause here.
Okay.
Most of you probably know what I'm asking rhetorically. Do any of those 13th Amendments sound like the ones that a lot of us have researched? When I was a little boy going to church in the 80s and 90s as a kid, I'd heard of the original 13th Amendment, and it wasn't any of these three charlatans or imposter documents.
I know.
And
I know.
now,
Dee's got her hand
I want,
raised. I
yeah,
know.
go ahead.
Hand raised.
I'll get a bite in while you say what you want to say.
Well, I didn't get my book out yet, but I'm gonna, and I hope I don't make a too fool of myself. But I think this is the one. This is one of your favorites, Sean. This is the title of nobility one, right? Isn't it? Am I right?
I'm kind of going that way. I'm kind of aiming in
Okay.
there. Yes, yeah.
Okay. I yield.
Well,
So, do you want me to read it from the book?
not quite yet. I want to look at that Corwin Amendment again. What? Who endorsed the Corwin Amendment
Thomas
as
Corwin.
president?
And, well, what's WHIG? He's a Whig from Ohio.
Correct. Whig Party.
Oh,
They were
okay.
still a thing. Now, with that said, who endorsed the Corwin Amendment as president-elect?
Abraham Lincoln.
That's a pretty hefty endorsement, right?
Yep.
So why would he be endorsing it? Let's read over that Corwin Amendment another time. Let's read that again.
Okay. Introduced by Representative Thomas Corwin on February 26, 1861, and passed by Congress on March 2, 1861, as a last-ditch effort to avert the Civil War by protecting slavery from federal interference. President-elect Abraham Lincoln endorsed it in his inaugural address. It was ratified by only a few states, Ohio, Maryland, and Illinois, before the war began and became moot.
So go ahead.
Becoming mute means that it didn't exist anymore, or
It's like a non-point now because it doesn't
It's
matter anymore, kind
moot.
of thing.
Yeah, moot's a way to say it's irrelevant. The point is moot.
Okay.
Your opinion is moot. In other words, it could exist, but it doesn't matter, is what they were saying. Which now we know the country was kind of all hot and bothered, especially with Lincoln being elected as president.
Yes.
Let's just say how people react to Trump, right? The
Yes.
Trump effect. So if Lincoln endorsed something, wouldn't it kind of make it fail? So would that not? Oh, if this was a last ditch effort to prevent a civil war, wouldn't that endorsement by Lincoln, politically speaking, have actually pushed the country towards civil war and infuriated more people?
I kind of would have used Biden as the example, but
Oh,
yes.
a good example too. But we don't have Biden derangement syndrome because we're not crazy.
True.
So in that hot mess of a country at the time, you get this guy and he endorses this amendment. And I kind of think the South threw up their hands because he, as a bar attorney, he shouldn't have been elected in the first place. And we're getting to that. But secondly, now he's, endorsing an amendment that, affects slavery. Now, the thing is, the narrative is Lincoln is this great emancipator, the great guy willing to, end slavery. But here, when he's, everything's hot and crazy, just moments before the Civil War, he's like, "Oh no, I endorse it. Let the states keep their slaves. I'm totally for you having slaves. Da 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 da. It'll save the Union." So one of these narratives is correct. Either Lincoln knows how to save the Union, or he's the emancipator who is willing to fight a civil war over it. And I think the real answer is that he knew doing what he was doing and going into office, he would disrupt things. And I think, unfortunately, he realized he was a dupe too late for the interest, the British and other characters. I mean, he did try to issue his own gold-backed or silver-backed currency and things of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot going on. But when you study the original 13th Amendment and you study these alternative versions of the amendments that I would say were drafted to muddy the waters, you wind up finding a lot about Lincoln and the political atmosphere at the time.
Yes.
And yes, there was a lot of there was a lot of brinksmanship regarding that slavery topic. Whether it was Polk, Buchanan, going back to Andrew Jackson, to take your pick, Polk. A lot of these presidents, a lot of it was like it was a hot potato, and they would just pass it around and try to ignore it. But
Yes.
we all know, as Christians, as brothers and sisters in Christ, there is neither a master nor servant, master nor slave. So, if our nation had stuck to Christian principles as the founders intended, would we even have, to worry about slavery in that context? And is not master a title of nobility? Ba ba ba.
Yeah.
So, in other words, instead of all these different 13th Amendments floating around causing trouble, what if we were to scroll down and converse about the actual original 13th Amendment? Bonnie, I leave it to you.
Okay, it doesn't scroll down. So the one in the book.
Yeah, go to my second message then.
Oh, okay. Second.
It would be the,
Mm,
I basically added a reply chain to that prompt with Grok.
see, I'm only
And just
showing.
look, should be in your inbox. Another reply.
Ah, there we go. Okay, had it. Separate one. And then go to y'all. Let me share this.
And Watt Live, yeah, interchanging the presidents is kind of a scary thought too, that they could all be swapped around, you know, almost as if they really don't matter, you know, because they are just a figurehead. Huh, I wonder. They're just a figurehead, then you know. Well, I'm having a little trouble here. Let me get my phone back under my thumb.
Okay, so now we start all over, right? The three proposed 13th Amendments to the United States Constitution, but I think that says the same thing, doesn't it? Curtailing it. Prior to the ratification of the actual 13th Amendment, I think Sean must have dropped. Let me go grab him. uh, we got another Sean. Okay.
Yeah, your browser is tricky sometimes. Wow, there's two of me? Awesome. The second one can go to work for me tomorrow.
Okay, go back to that. So, does the first part say the same as the other one? Or just read it as it is?
It should. You can scroll down to where
Okay. Scroll down to where
I added more to the questions. Like I said, a second prompt.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
You got to know how to talk to these AIs sometimes because they're not forthcoming, folks. Again, it's programmer bias. And these programmers hope to shape our view of history and program our kids. It's going to be scary in 10 or 20 years. Will the textbooks say Russia, Russia, Russia? Or will they say the CIA and the Clintons and Obamas framed President Trump? Which will it be?
Okay. The original proposed 13th Amendment, ratified in 1791, but often called the Congressional Apportionment Amendment, is not the slavery-related amendment you may be thinking of. It was one of the original 12 amendments proposed by Congress in 1789, along with the 10 that became the Bill of Rights. Only 11 were ratified at the time. The first two failed.
Bonnie,
yes?
May I? Go up and read my question that I gave Grok to clarify. And by the way, this means now, folks, we have a fourth version of a 13th Amendment. But yeah, scroll up, Bonnie, and read that question that I gave Grok to clarify.
With this said, Grok, what is the original 13th Amendment?
So we have asked 2 times now, what is the 13th Amendment? And so far it's given me 4 incorrect answers, guys. That's not very good for AI. It's supposed to be all, you know, sharp and cutting edge and, you know, nickel and all that, and supposed to scour the internet. What the heck?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay, so here is the original proposed 13th Amendment, which would have been the first in the original package if both early proposals had passed. After the first enumeration required by the first article of the Constitution, there shall be one representative for every 30,000 until the number shall amount to 100, after which the proportion shall be so regulated by Congress that there shall be not less than 100 representatives, nor less than 1 representative for every 40,000 persons, until the number of representatives shall amount to 200, after which the proportion shall be so regulated by Congress that there shall not be less than 200 representatives, nor more than 1 representative for every 50,000 persons. That has nothing to do with slavery or
That's the proportionment rules for Congress, like we've seen, with Gavin Newsom doing the redistricting and everything. It's a completely different topic.
Yes. And
I'm just loving. Go ahead.
that's not what my book says.
Isn't that amazing, guys? That I gave Grok a second chance to be on point, but Grok does stumble to the truth here in a moment. Continue.
Continue on Grok.
Yeah, go ahead.
Key facts. Proposed September 25th, 1789. Never fully ratified. Only 10 states approved it by 1792. Needs 3/4 of the states. Purpose to cap the size of the House of Representatives, ensure representation grew with population. Still technically pending, it has no expiration date, so if 28 more states ratified it today, 38 total needed, it could become the 28th Amendment.
Isn't that an interesting point of trivia that someone could go into the archive, dig it back up, and put it to the floor of the Congress?
Yeah. Common confusion. Many people mistakenly refer to the Titles of Nobility Amendment as the original 13th Amendment. That was a
Oh,
different.
ruh-roh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That was
Mistakenly, huh?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a different proposal from 1810, which would have stripped citizenship from anyone accepting foreign titles. It was never ratified and is unrelated to the 1789 proposal.
Isn't that interesting? Because I swear after 1810 we had a thing called the War of 1812. I wonder why we had that.
That
Carry
was
on.
a pretty major. So then, let's see. So the original 13th is the 1791 appointment rule, still legally alive but forgotten. And then you ask Grok, if it can be proven the Titles of Nobility Act was ratified, would you update your response? Yes, absolutely. I'd update my responses immediately if credible, verifiable evidence emerged providing the Titles of Nobility Amendment was properly ratified by the required 3/4 of states in 1810 or at any point thereafter. My knowledge is designed to evoke with new, substantiated information, prioritizing historical accuracy over outdated or debunked claims.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
You tell it, Sean. You tell that Grok.
here's where we can have some fun, folks. Remember, AI is only as good as its input, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what I'm going to drop into Grok's database at a later time. However, Grok said debunked. Debunked by who and who's doing the debunking? Oh, usually it's bar attorneys. I wonder.
Yeah.
So
Is
that's kind of like
designed to evoke with new, substantiated information. Huh.
yeah. One, there's what you call preponderance of evidence, and two, there is actually where facts traverse the matter and actually indicate it is true. So a lot of you guys have probably heard of David Dodge and his research. His research isn't the end all be all. And one of my little rabbit trails I went down, there's an old site called Barefoot's World. And Barefoot's World had like bar attorney rebuttals and stuff if you went further into the rabbit hole of the stuff archived there. And there was actually a bar attorney trying to pick apart the 13th Amendment, and he cites the director of the National Archive, who is an attorney. He cites their attorney. Now get this. I looked up that attorney. Yes, it was true that this attorney was the director. He was at the National Archives. At the National Archives, this attorney says Virginia ratified the original 13th Amendment. That is true. Now, the attorney trying to debunk it says, well, by what authority does he have to say that? He doesn't have the authority. Oh. It's like, I say the sky is blue. Oh, what authority do you say the sky is blue? Oh. It's like, that's how the bar, folks, screws with you and screws things. So if a guy who is the attorney for the National Archives, Mr. Big Bar for our government's storage system of all this information, says Virginia ratified it, he knows something that John Q. Public probably doesn't, which most of us know is that the slip for the original 13th Amendment has mysteriously vanished, basically post-War of 1812. Mm-hmm. So the attorney, in trying to debunk it by raising such a fit, told me he protests too much. So that's one of the little paths you can find if you guys look up Barefoot's World. And if you want a shorter explanation, I can give some info in a second. But Dee, I want to know what you're bringing to the table tonight on this. I don't want it all to be the Sean show. So what do you got for us?
I already said I didn't come prepared. I was just here for support. I didn't get my book out yet and look at it either. I'm actually cooking dinner, and my husband's about to come home, and we're going to sit down and have dinner. But now my mind went totally blank. You so put me on the spot.
Sorry, Dee.
No, it's fine. I'll have to go look up my notes. I definitely studied about this. I just, like I said, I haven't even did any homework. Thank you for allowing me to remind everyone again how I didn't do any homework today. But I did have something to say, but it totally flew out my brain. I can't remember.
You don't have to do homework every day.
I can't. No, just today. I wanted to look stuff over, and I got distracted. Is what happened. I know it's hard to believe, but
well, let me stick with you, Dee, on this.
Yeah,
you've researched it.
Yeah,
you've researched it. I think Bonnie's been around when we talk about researching it. We're only three people. We're three of the people, but would we, as three of the people, agree in our research that the original 13th Amendment regarding titles of nobility was passed by our Congress? Would we agree it was ratified by the number of states needed?
So they say.
Well, let's go to
13. Is that what it is? Is that what it was? Or was
at the time when they proposed it, they needed their ratio, and with that ratio needed, I'm gonna get into something, but finish your thought, Dee, and then I'll continue.
I did. I finished my
okay.
thought. Okay. And actually, I did think about what I was gonna say, and that was just about Grok. But I can bring that up later. I don't want to sidetrack any thoughts you have right now. I yield.
Oh, I'm eating food. I'm caffeinated.
Oh,
I'm rested.
There it is, everybody. There it is. Okay.
Okay, so you want me to
read on the spot? I'm just saying.
I'll just go ahead and read the rest of it till the end, and then.
Well,
I'll let her read it.
Go from there.
I'm going to look at my notes right now.
You can, but I have a good point. What if after the Civil War? What if after the Civil War, the state of Colorado still ratified it? Why would they ratify something that's not on the books?
Wait, I don't remember saying Colorado.
Colorado's
1865. Colorado ratified the original 13th Amendment in 1865. Thank you, Four Corners Report, if you're out there, for providing me that knowledge in my research a couple years ago.
Oh,
Got to give the man his due. He gave me the info. So he has some knowledge on that as well as someone who's done some deep dives with us. So if
Mm-hmm.
if he wants to come up on the panel and share his research, I'll be more than happy to add to or show you folks where some of this stuff has gone. This rabbit hole is one of the best rabbit holes in America, because if we can get it to be common knowledge, and it is common knowledge amongst those who actually do their research, we can tell all these bar attorneys they need to leave the courthouse, and sometimes they do. What?
Sean, there's
Mm-hmm.
a big. Oh, sorry. May I?
No, go ahead, D.
Um, I have been wanting to email you and a couple other people this court case website that I found, and maybe when we're done with everything, I could kind of show you that later.
Nice. I
Yeah,
will look forward to that.
yeah. I shared it on X. Aren't you on X?
I am, but I just barely go on it.
Okay.
Okay, Ricky, if you're listening, sending email. Incoming.
Yep. Go ahead
Oops.
and continue with the read, Bonnie, when you're all set with that, and then I will lean into the microphone and give more 13th Amendment facts and knowledge and info. And remember, Colorado is just only one of my points so far. I yield.
Okay. To be clear on the current consensus based on official records from the National Archives, congressional proceedings, and scholarly analysis, TONA passed Congress on May 1st, 1810, and received ratifications from 12 states by early 1812, short of the 13 needed at the time, now 38 out of 50. It has no ratification deadline, so it's technically still pending, but it was never completed and isn't part of the Constitution. Conspiracy theories from 13thers, is that what you're called? Claiming secret ratification or suppression stem from printing errors in early 19th century editions of the statutes at large and lack primary source support from state legislatures or federal certification. If you have specific evidence, documents, newly discovered ratifications, etc., share it. I'd be thrilled to dig in and verify. What sparked this question for you?
Now, I'm not going to tell Grok why I asked that, because we don't want the AI to get smart to me leading with the question. The
Right.
caveat here, folks, is that after that period, states continue to add the 13th Amendment to their copies of the Constitution and mirror it in their state constitutions as well. So, why were all these states and all these bureaucrats doing it wrong? Their job is to get it right. And back then, printing mistakes were very costly. So, you're telling me a state like Colorado and the states in between 1810 to Colorado, from 1810 to 1865, you had multiple states would print the U.S. Constitution for their employees to follow, and the original 13th Amendment is in it. Then, I don't know if Scrimshaw's here tonight. Scrimshaw found me a book a couple years back, and she's up in the Northeast. She did real good. She found me a book called The True American by Joseph Coe, and he was like a historian. And so he wanted to write a book that all young men in America should read to be the true American and what they should learn and know. Now, as a historian, he includes a copy of the Constitution with the original 13th Amendment, Titles of Nobility Act, as part of its Bill of Rights. So that's the second one there. Another document I came across was for people immigrating to the United States through New York. Guess what? Immigrants had to know the original 13th Amendment was part of the Bill of Rights in the Constitution because they wanted you to learn what the law of the land was if you immigrated to America in those days. Be
Yes.
nice if they do that today, folks. Here, Mr. Immigrant, here's the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. That Sharia law you're bringing, or that suppression of free speech you're bringing, or that communism you're bringing, doesn't fly here. This is the law. Read it, learn it. You're going to
Yes.
swear to it, and you're going to swear to the flag or whatever. So just
And
just off of 2 documents I've added on top of Colorado, that's 3 documents, guys. 3. Go ahead, Bonnie.
I was just going to say they're very um in what the immigrants learn while they are in the process of becoming American citizens. They are the ones who are serious about it, are very engaged, and are loving what they're learning. And um, so I'd be interested to see exactly what the course is that they're taking. But at the same time, once they're finished taking it, the ones that I know, that is a very happy day for them to become an American. Excuse me.
I agree. It's a celebration for them. And
Yes.
yet somehow we have people who come over and they
Miss,
hate this country and they're not deported and they're not engaged in the citizenship class. What are we doing? Why are
we're
we
electing
why are we
them in
reporting
New York
ticking time
City.
bomb?
Oops, I didn't say that.
Okay, I have a contribution if I may.
Yes, please.
Okay. So let me see. This is from the Making of America study that and that book by what's this? Dr. Skousen. But anyway, here's just a couple paragraphs about this amendment. It says, in view of these circumstances, oh, I probably should read the paragraph before. It's talking about the Constitutional Convention was held in 1787. The sentiment for phasing out the entire institution of slavery was becoming very strong. In nearly all of the states, the moral issue was clear. However, the pathway to an economic transition out of slavery was not so clear, not even for the slaves. Most of them were woefully unprepared for a life of competitive independence. Competent, whatever. In view of these circumstances, the founders were willing to allow 20 years for further maturity of a non-slave economy in certain states. But meanwhile, they wished to unitedly declare in a voice loud and clear that slavery was on its way out. They did this by putting a provision in the Northwest Ordinance, passed the same year the Constitution was written, 1787, that in the new states there would be no slavery. This provision, which allowed a delay of the slavery issue, was used by the northern states as a trading chip to get the southern states to allow the Congress to regulate interstate and foreign commerce. And then it just kind of goes on and on, but that's the main gist I think that I wanted to share of that. I yield.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you.
There's a couple more pages, or there's a couple more references I'm gonna look up for the 13th Amendment here. 720. I love this book. It's been the best one for The Making of America by Dr. Skousen. He also did the 5,000 Year Leap, Both so good, really good. 13 through 16. Let's see. Let me read how many are here? There's like 3 little paragraphs. Do you want me to read them, Bonnie?
Sure.
Well, these are provisions from the 13th Amendment. I'm just going to read the short sentence from each provision, but provision 249 for the 13th Amendment, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist within the United States or any place subject to its jurisdiction. Provision 250 of the 13th Amendment says the only exception to the prohibition against involuntary servitude shall be in the case of a convicted criminal who shall be sentenced to involuntary servitude as part of his punishment. And lastly, provision 251 from the 13th Amendment. Congress shall have the power to enforce these provisions by appropriate legislation. And that just gave Congress the power, the right to pass whatever legislation was necessary to carry out the provisions of that amendment. They got real loose with their stuff as
Yes.
the amendments went on, you know? They just like, well, because we say so. A lot of them seems like, I'm just like, what the shit is this? This is a lot different than the first 10, that's for sure, amendments.
So I'm sorry.
Oh, I yield.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hey Carolina. So the the wording of that servitude and slavery, and we've heard a lot about that in um, okay, saying that no one shall have to pay servitude to the government, but yet we're seeing where all Americans are paying servitude to the government, paying taxes, paying by dollars, and working for the government always.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we haven't fought
Not
them back
slave.
well.
It's not slavery if they call it taxes, right? Ask the people under King John what they thought. You know, that they created the Robin Hood myth because of those taxes.
Right.
I've heard it said it's a voluntary system. Know a few people. I know a few people. They swear it's so.
Well, in working for businesses and doing their book work, and when we hire a new person, they have to fill out the W-4. Is it W-4? I think that's what it's called. Um, saying single or with a family, and how much they want to pay in is pretty much what they're required to put on there. If I don't have that form on a business, then I get in trouble.
Hey, Eric. Good to see you.
So how's that voluntary if they enforce it at the point of a gun?
Yeah.
Sounds to me like they're kings and we're back to being the peasants or the slaves.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't
Exactly.
remember James Trafficant, but I do. Do you remember James
Mm-hmm.
Trafficant?
Hey, Lauren.
Mm-hmm. He spent 7 years in prison. He died in prison. He was in Congress and he was fighting about taxes. He
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't pay him. They nailed his ass to the wall.
They did the same to Erwin Schiff.
Well,
Sad.
they would do that to any of us. Don't pay your
Mhm.
taxes and see what happens to your home, your car, your anything you
Yeah.
have.
They tried the same on Red Beckman as well. There's a long record of people being right, but just because we the people are right doesn't mean the government agrees with us. That's the problem is we got a government that doesn't agree with us. In fact, it's
No, they're
repugnant.
mafia.
Dee, go
They're
back over,
mafia. Yeah.
go, yeah, go back and read the final parts. I would say the final three sentences of that excerpt regarding the provisions. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm going somewhere with this.
I'm in the kitchen. Hold on a second. I gotta go back in a different room. The last sentence.
At least the last two sentences.
Well, that would be the middle provision 250. The only exception to the prohibition against involuntary servitude shall be in the case of a convicted criminal who shall be sentenced to involuntary servitude as part of his punishment. And then the last part is Congress shall have the power to enforce these provisions by appropriate legislation.
Okay, I'm condensing it down, but the way it was read when you were reading it earlier, there was provision this, provision that. And I was like, wow, it really sounds like we got a bunch of lawyers talking to us from the floor of the Congress. And then the other part with all the legalese in there, I believe there is a part that says may take any measures. You just read appropriate
Mhm.
legislation, but isn't above that like 3 sentences or 4 sentences something that said may take whatever or may take any measures? Am
Shall have
I
the
correct in?
power, yeah, shall have the power to enforce these provisions. You know what? I didn't read these first two paragraphs. Let me
That's
read something else
interesting.
for you. Under the first provision I read that says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist within the United States or any place subject to its jurisdiction. Now listen to these first couple paragraphs of that provision. This provision gives every human being living in the United States and its territories the right to be free. Congress had previously abolished slavery in the District of Columbia and in the territories. It had also repealed a fugitive slave law and had given freedom to Negroes who had served in the Union armies. And then it goes on about the Emancipation Proclamation and the Confederation. And but anyway, that was interesting seeing DC in there. And I didn't know, I didn't read it all the way through, but there's more if you want to hear more of it. But it's just it's a slavery issue, you know.
Well, it's funny they bring up DC as if it's a separate piece of territory. More on that
Hmm.
later, Phil. My point,
Yeah.
they just flew with that appropriate legislation or do whatever it takes. They just flew in the face of Marbury versus Madison and 10th
Mm-hmm.
Amendment and 9th Amendment we researched. If to free slaves, they had to, take away someone's Second Amendment rights or someone's First Amendment rights. You see how the wording gets very twisted there?
Right. What happened to all men are created free, you know, and equal, and the whole thing is just word wordplay.
Well, yeah, the right to have um, life, liberty, and justice, freedom to prosper. I think God makes those promises.
Well, my point is if you can draft open-ended documentation like that, open-ended documents, and then go back and say, well, we can do whatever, would that be including, wait for it, altering historical records and documents? Just a thought. That's kind of where I'm going with some of this stuff, is that by putting so many things around the
Hey, Cole.
neck of the slavery cause, they were just it was the ends justifying the means, which is how you go headlong into corruption. You
Mm-hmm.
guys get it?
Yep.
They were saying they could do whatever they want to blot out slavery and this and that. I'm not arguing for slavery, but I'm saying you have to conduct your business in a lawful fashion. For example, if Congress objects to a bar attorney who just happens to be, oh, I'm the great emancipator, I'm going to free the slaves and slavery, this and that, doesn't matter. If you became president and you're not supposed to be president because you're a bar attorney, that needs to be objected to. It needs to be stopped. You need to do things correctly and lawfully.
Mm-hmm.
They did it. They had to kind of hide in the historical record why Congress walked out, why they went sine die. And with that, instead of reconvening Congress properly, you declared martial law and tried to hunt down these congressional members with the military, totally screwing things up. So, what exactly are we dealing with? We're dealing with people who think they can give themselves whatever powers they want as long as they can justify their cause. War on terror sound familiar? Remember somebody was going to talk about that earlier? Patriot Act?
Yeah.
Ends justify the means. That's their logic. The law be damned and proper procedure be damned. Although they want it for themselves, of course. Carolina Country Homesteading 101. You're correct. Where would welfare come from if not through the unlawful taxation of the working class citizens? Well, the correct answer would be it would come from the churches and from the private individual. That's where it was supposed to come from. But
Yes.
by talking about the general welfare clause, they decided to make it where, hey, we have to pay in so they can point out who gives out, a percentage of the money to the poor, and while they keep a good percentage, of course, for their salary and their wages. So
Yes.
that is the long and the short of that. Again, making us poor, making us paupers on the land, while they become, empowered.
So in the beginning, it was the 13 colonies are the Bible Belt, correct? I could be wrong, but
No, it's
so
East Coast,
they
Bible Belt South.
oh so they would, but still the Christians. I don't know how it was set up then, but if they were tithing 10%, that money would have been used to help any that were in need, correct? Or
That's what the Christians were doing. Remember, the Underground Railroad, for example, that was a bunch of Christian churches that would help the slaves get from house to house to house. People wrongly accuse white Christians of being pro-slavery when it was the white Christians who fought a civil war and died over it. But part of it was the principle. The South objected that basically the North was cheating and throwing out the rule book to always get its way, and also trying to make a claim that they were going to take the lands of the plantations to pay off the national debt to the British.
right.
So, yeah, the Bible Belt area is the area they try to portray as like it's something out of The Handmaid's Tale, when in reality that's not the case. That our country generates more revenue for charitable services for here in the country and abroad than any other country has ever done at any other time in the history of the whole planet. So, but generating revenue, generating donations does not create freedom. It does not create doesn't create knowledge. It doesn't create independent wealth, because there's still the innate human spirit, or the desire, whatever you want to call it, the ambition, the motivation. Each individual has to have that. You got your equal rights, but you don't got your equal opportunities. You have your opportunities only if you reach out and take them. They let them fly by. You can't complain about being lazy that someone else got the job that you never applied for. So,
Yeah, it's equal rights, not equal things. That's how that
correct.
goes.
And yes, wildlife makes the point, the War of Northern Aggression, which it was. That the problem for the South is they got played by the British too. And that, yeah, we'll bring a ship of gold for you guys. You can base your currency around this gold that never arrived. And they had Confederate tin. So they had basically no economy while trying to fight a full war. Good luck with that. So, but yeah, belt loop. Seems like I've heard of bells with scripture on them. Oh, yeah, the Liberty Bell. So,
Yes. Mhm.
what I put out is, wouldn't the original 13th Amendment, by prohibiting titles such as, say, master, would it not cut through all of this? There would be no provision. There would be no people in Congress trying to give themselves more power to, manipulate future legislation and so on. I would say yes. And as we saw with Grok, if Grok, which can crawl the internet, thinks that our stuff is conspiracy theory, oh dear, I think we need to, we literally have to, as Americans, correct the record. It's time for the conspiracy theories to be shown to be conspiracy fact. And that is Belt loop's making me laugh. The rod of correction is found in the heart of the child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from them. Lot for a belt, though. Yeah. So, yeah. What I'm looking at, is the original 13th Amendment that we've dwelled on. Basically, they've created a straw man. If you want to restore the original 13th Amendment, you don't care about slavery, and that reveals, if someone's saying that they are highly ignorant of the environment and the situations historically around which it happened. And with the British burning down Washington, D.C. in 1814, before the end of the War of 1812, don't forget we had the Battle of New Orleans a little later. That war wasn't just in 1 year. Point being, if Dolly Madison hadn't escaped with the Constitution and the initial Bill of Rights, which I still think is kind of a setup event, who knows what our history would have been if the British had seized all our founding documents. So we fast forward a little bit here. We go to that Civil War period, and this Civil War period, they're all like, oh, we don't know if there's any original 13th Amendment. Let's look at slavery, this. I'm just like, that's pretty handy. You guys are erasing something that all your states are saying is the law by saying, oh, it was never ratified. Well, what are all your people in your different states doing? Shouldn't they all be getting fired for printing up the wrong copy of the Constitution? That'd be their fault. Or is it? Multiple states as late as 1865, post-Civil War, ladies and gentlemen. So, we saw tonight in a very brief way multiple versions of the 13th Amendment. And then we saw the one that actually, I will argue, is ratified, because I have even further ratification that I haven't spoken of. We have that one that's the conspiracy theory one. And I don't know, Bonnie, do you got any comments? Because I know you want to go into some other stuff tonight too.
Well, I'm thinking, how could all of that have been prevented? And so it's my understanding the Irish were the first slaves brought over and owned by actually black people. But that could be false information too. I think about my grandparents and raising cotton and doing it on their own. They never had slaves. It seemed to me that it was more predominant in the North with the rich, where they felt that they needed a cook or a maid or something like that. But then when slavery was abolished, a lot of the slaves wanted to stay right where they were. So it's just a interesting concept of how it was done back then and why. But at the same time, here we are now, and it seems that we are slaves to the system that has been built as it is.
Exactly. It's an invisible prison in which you can only trade in their credit, at their company stores, just like in the time of the railroads, Let's look at something that goes along with this. The 1619 Project and the liberal wokists. I don't even call them elites. They're just wokists. It's kind of like fascist, but woke. Anyway,
Right.
They proclaimed that our founding fathers were these slave-owning, terrible people. I mean, the guys who drafted that Northwest Ordinance that Dee highlighted,
Mm-hmm.
why would they draft something like that? Because they planned, again, to get rid of the slavery institution.
Well, I didn't knock you out, just not sharing that anymore. Whoops. Sorry, Sean. Hmm. So, how do we get out of it? That's the big question. So, all I
My
did was Sharon, and you went boop.
my apologies. My thumb was moving around on the screen, and it somehow thought it was to go backwards on the browser to the home page
Oh, okay, good.
versus yeah, basically I ejected myself by accident. That
Just right
that
at the
ladies, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that one was not the government. That was me being a klutz.
second.
So the to pick up where I just left off, the founding fathers, if these guys were such Simon Legree slave master types, well,
Mm-hmm.
here's what they don't understand. A lot of people back then were in trade guilds, and when you were an apprentice in a trade guild, you were essentially a slave to whoever ran that house and was teaching everybody their trade.
Yes.
To these folks, you could be that slave on that land. Yeah, you'd have a communal house. It'd be crap. You'd have crappy clothing, but you had a roof over your head. You had your meals, and you had, you know, you had clothes, like I referenced, clothes, roof over your head, 3 meals a day. Kind of like what the people
Mhm.
on EBT, what they have.
Right.
I'm not saying slavery is good, but I am saying there's some people who have so little ambition that they actually become slaves by their routine. They're enslaved to their TV, and they're enslaved to thinking they don't have enough when they're not willing to work for more. So there is an element. How would I put this? A good example, and I like this example. Maybe I'm biased towards George Washington. Maybe I'm not. But I've read his documents relating to Christmas and Christmas parties and so on.
Mm-hmm.
If slaves ran away from Washington, and this wasn't just for Christmas, but if they ran away, he would not send anybody to go catch them. They were free to go. And Washington was in Virginia, what's considered a southern state. Same as Jefferson. For Virginia being the southern state, there sure were a lot of people with ideas about freeing the slaves there. Virginia, coincidentally, is the state that didn't ratify the original 13th Amendment. Huh. What if they had, maybe all that abolitionist stuff would have died down because the 13th Amendment would have been in place. Those people would not have had their cause to continue to roust about the country to create a civil war, perhaps. But I want to touch on the Washington, and he doesn't chase down his slaves. During Christmas, he actually gave gifts to the slaves, stipends of rum and other such, alcohol and allowances, and allowed them a 4-day weekend in town. Well, if he's not going to chase them down, he's giving them allowances. Plus, they have liquor where they can get as drunk as they want. Something tells me he wasn't Mr. Slave Master. You have to be there at crack of dawn, to pick all the crops and this and that. Because he's basically saying, hey, go to town. Merry Christmas. Like, if you take off, you take off. That's not slavery, folks. That's an employer who is kind of like in the Dillagath mindset. Like he's like, I got enough people that are willing to work for me. If you don't want to, stay here, we'll see you later.
Right.
So, you know, that that image of the founding father generation through the Lincoln time period, everybody were these whip cracking slave masters. That's a template that serves one narrative, and it serves the oppression narrative by people who were never oppressed in their lifetime, let alone never had to do hard labor and have no knowledge that, yes, sometimes you need a bunch of guys doing the hard labor while one dude is like, okay, guys, push that wall up, push that side of the barn up. Okay, you almost got it. You almost got it. Hold it there. And then another guy comes along and puts a pin, keep it in place. Kind of like when the Amish are doing their barn raising. Not every Amish guy is pushing the side of the barn up. You know, there's going to be the one guy who's directing them, pulling the rope. It doesn't mean that he's, lording over them. That's where his niche is on that team.
I
Yeah, I know,
understand.
Cheryl. We're cracking the with a whip. Yeah, it has nothing to do with clam chowder. And yes, I do say it like a Kennedy. It's chowder. Hey, welcome, Vex. Good to see you. I don't know if Vex mixed all the 13th Amendment stuff earlier, but he's another person that could talk on it. He was there in the trenches side by side with me, doing research on it, and that's going to be one of our biggest things we have to do. You guys remember last year, King Charles and Trump were talking about, hey, maybe the British and the English become, unified, and we go back to being part of the Commonwealth. If we don't acknowledge kings, there's no point in having a Commonwealth with the king,
No, we don't want Commonwealth.
And that too, because the Commonwealth implies communism.
Yes.
Let me say that again. Commonwealth implies communism.
So, do you feel like we're on our way? Do you feel like we are a socialist country right now? Well, okay. he's he's gone. Okay, so I'm going to read the one that's in my book because it didn't sound like any of those that were coming up. And there's Sean again.
Do I feel like we're a socialist country?
Okay.
I feel like there's a lot of socialists in the country, but our country should still be. Well, it's like Justice Harlan said, there exists two forms of government. So on paper, we should be a confederated Republican style, want to call it. And then you got the other element in which it's a corporatocracy ran by socialists. Because it doesn't matter if you want to say fascist or socialist, it's always the business is tied into the state and state's tied into the business. Just are the unions running it or are the capitalists running it? Doesn't matter. They're all making profit. So the unions are just a squishy, feel good way of saying, hey, we're going to make the money, but we're going to pretend we're for the people. So that's the difference. It's just, with the fascist style of government, the mask is removed. That's why all these communist uprisings around the world, you always get a figurehead leader and then they become fascist. They're no longer communist or socialist after a while. But we as a country, I'll be honest, we're a country that's we're in a transition, and the transition is, where do we want to be? Where do we want to go? The more, like Vex just said, the more we inform the people, the less we become socialists. That's correct. But what we missed out on earlier is, heck, Grok can't even get our own 13th Amendment correct in 2 tries.
So, I looked up socialism meaning, and it has this little paragraph that's kind of interesting. We want a real democratic and pluralist left party, one which unites all those who believe in socialism. They just put it out there, don't they? So,
But they couldn't define what it is, could they?
well, that's just something's going on with New York. Something, I don't know. That's very concerning to me. Okay, so I'm going to read what's in the book.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is the 13th Amendment in the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence by the Founding Fathers and Paul B. Skousen. One, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. I guess it kind of does say the same thing, but so, okay, if everybody is saying that by our birth certificate and any of the certificates that happen from birth on, you get a number. We all have a number. We're all um, in the system, is basically what it is. So, in I've heard people say that that's the enslavement.
Repeat that again. What you just said there.
That I have heard that once we get a birth certificate and a number, because we're all numbered, that that is the enslavement of the people, that we are then a slave to the system because of those documents that are from the system.
There's a yes to that, and I'm going to go. You remember how everything we can trace is biblical? What happened when King David numbered the people? He ran a census on them because his goal was to tax them. That's what numbering the people is for, to tax them. If they're paying taxes, are they not slaves? Are not the people of Israel not to be slaves except to God Almighty?
That's true. And look how many had so much trouble paying the taxes when it was tax time.
I'm going to go a different route. And yeah, Phil in the comments, Phil R said social security number. He's correct.
Yes.
But let me, and yet, yes, Jerry, indeed, happy birthday, Marine Corps, hoorah. So here we go with some knowledge here, folks. When David did that census, God said, I'm going to punish you. Pick your poison. None of the sentences were light. And I believe David wound up picking famine. So Israel had a great famine during his reign. And then things come back, and there's already still stuff to happen. And, David didn't die completely miserable, but between what he did with putting his friend on the front lines, and between that and basically God's very displeased when you murder and when you tax. Death and taxes. God doesn't like that, folks. And the only people who can death and tax you back then were kings. So if there's no king but Christ, who are all these other characters trying to death and tax us or claim themselves a lord or a king or an esquire?
Was it the tax building that Jesus flipped the tables?
Well, that was their way. They were the money changers were manipulating the markets and taking a little bit for the tax for Caesar, but also taking taxes for themselves and also price gouging. Like you would have doves to sacrifice, sometimes other animals and stuff, and they would raise the price of those animals to where something a pilgrim has, he had to sell everything for one animal for one ritual sacrifice. And how's he going to pay his way to get back home from wherever he traveled in the Holy Land? I mean, they were doing to those faithful people in Jesus's time what they're doing to the faithful in our time now. And when people say Jesus, it's time to flip tables, Jesus was, you got to remember what he said. He indicted them. He condemned them for their conduct because they were doing it in a house of worship. No house of worship should be playing money games with you. If you want to pay it a tithe because it's doing the Lord's work, I'll leave that between you and your denomination, what have you. But other than that, they should not be collecting any other types of dues, fundraising, uh, getting involved in business ventures. That's why, like, one of the things I would pick apart the LDS church for, because that was a tradition I was raised in. The LDS church puts their money into a lot of businesses, and if those businesses say no to them, suddenly there's a Mormon boycott of that business. Oh, you mean Coca-Cola? Yeah. So that's where churches, they lose sight because they want to keep the wealth of the church. They want to keep their big fancy buildings and pay the mortgage on them, or they, want to run an orphanage or something that's outside their purview, or that they never figured out how to do it correctly without running into a debt. They start making the congregation pay for more and more and more. And last I checked, the Holy Spirit dwells within all people. It doesn't dwell within buildings anymore. It hasn't been in a building ever since the Holy of Holies veil was ripped in half when Jesus gave up the ghost. It left the temple at that time, folks. That's why when you have Pentecost, the Holy Spirit descends on all the people that were there, the disciples, and they're all speaking in tongues because it can be in multiple places. It doesn't have to be in one building. That's a scary thought. If every human body or every man and woman is a body, their body is truly a church of Christ, and the Holy Spirit dwells within. Can you tax a church? Remember, the root word church, translated to German, Kirk, means body.
Right.
They can't tax the body if the Holy Spirit is in you. You submit to paying your taxes, you're telling this government that the Holy Spirit is not in you and that you're one of their little machines in their system. I'm not saying don't pay your taxes in the colloquial sense, but I am saying to you symbolically what they are doing when they make you pay a tax. I yield.
Yeah. I agree. And so does that have anything to do with the Christians being crucified, or is it just because they're Christians?
Maybe it's both. Maybe the Christians didn't want to pay a tax to Rome because the only thing to give to Caesar was Caesar's. Okay, well, I don't get my payment from Caesar, or I don't get my payment in the denarii or whatever the Roman currency was. I don't take this coin for my payment. Me and my buddy, I pay him in fish, he pays me in eggs. We got barter going on, or he pays me in a piece of gold and I pay him in a piece of silver. And you exclude them from that transaction. Well, they still want to tax it. They want their fingers in everything. This is where Owen Benjamin would come in with his meme about the grabbler. And I would say, yeah, that's kind of appropriate. But the Romans and the synagogue of Satan have been doing this for centuries. So
Yes.
when we refuse to acknowledge them as noblemen over us, or even papas, popes, I will tell you, they don't have any power, and that scares them the most. Vex is saying something. Oh, what? Yes, Acts 17 to 24, chapter 17, verse 24.
Yes.
God that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. This is why we have temples on either side of our brain. Correct.
That's a cool way to look at it.
13th Amendment right there, folks.
Yeah.
No titles of nobility, so nobody's a pope over you, nobody's a lord over you, nobody's a king, no king but Christ. So what are we doing, pretending more than their share? They voted the shutdowns over today, right? I mean, isn't it interesting they decided to vote and end that shutdown on the birthday of the Marine Corps? Because you know what really pisses off a Marine on the Marine Corps birthday? It's not having their paycheck.
It's getting their coffee taken away.
Well, that's the point. How are you going to have a Marine Corps ball and a Marine Corps birthday ball if all the Marines are pissed off and they've got money to have their ceremony and their cake? They might go looking, you thought J6 was bad. Do the math on how many Marines there are. I'm not saying, the Marine Corps did anything, but I wouldn't place it. I wouldn't place it far for the Marine Corps behind the scenes being like, Mr. President, we're going to go send a word to the Speaker, and we're going to go send a word to the President of the Senate, and we're going to go send a word to the minority leaders, and we're going to just tell them they better get their act together. I would love for the Commandant of the Marine Corps to have done that. Don't think he did, but it would be fitting. It's a Marine Corps birthday ball, 250 years. Get your act together, Congress. I mean, if the Marine Corps can do it, and we're Uncle Sam's redheaded stepchildren, or misguided children, if you want to do it as MC. If the Marine Corps can keep its act together for 250 years, why can't Congress?
I actually have the speech.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I went to my email and I got a copyright. That's okay. Copyright's okay. Here it is. Do you want me to play it? It's the speaker. I don't know if y'all heard his speech or not, but this is what I got today.
Well, it shouldn't be a copyright if it's public officials.
Yeah, no, this won't be a copyright. I can play
Let's hear it.
Okay, let me get back to y'all and share. Just thought it was kind of interesting what he had to say. Well, I just have to play it from there.
Tuesday night, you had blue states and blue cities that voted blue, to the alarm of no one, to the surprise of no one. That was what was expected. It just so happened that New York and New Jersey and Virginia were the states that were in the national spotlight on Tuesday. If the tables had been turned and if the calendar had been different and you had 3 red states, we'd have an entirely different narrative that you all would be writing about. Second, the big headline that everyone is writing about appropriately is that the future of the Democrats was set in New York City. A 34-year-old Marxist is now the leader of the Democratic Party, and it is a very dangerous road for them to go down. It is very easy to run and win as a socialist, right? All you do is promise everything to everyone for free. Boy, that really resonates for people who don't study history. And while you're making all those promises, you hope that they never realize the trap that you're actually setting, the impossibility of fulfilling your fantastical claims and dreams, and the extreme danger and chaos that would result if you ever could. When you run as a socialist, you have to hope that they never understand that this will lead to the inevitable loss of their freedom, their opportunity, and their security, the loss of meritocracy and fairness in society, the loss of colorblindness, and the loss of emphasis on character, and the morality and the personal incentive and the common sense that we rely upon to keep a republic in operation. If you run as a socialist, you run on a big list of false claims, and you promise everything to everyone and you can't deliver, and if you were ever able to deliver, it will be to the great detriment of the very people that you lured in to vote for you. Third fact about the election on Tuesday night is that the Democrats, and you all are not writing about this, and you should be, not writing enough about it, the Democrats have now set themselves on a collision course in their own tent. If you look at Spanberger in Virginia and Sherrill in New Jersey, they tried to run as moderate pragmatists. That's how they self-described. But they will be no match for the coming communist wave taking over their party. The energy is on the side of the Marxists. Look no further than the top 2 Democrats here in Congress. They had to bend the knee to the socialists. Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are both from New York. The top Democrat leader in the House and the top in the Senate, they couldn't get around that. And so Hakeem had to ultimately give the full blessing to Mamdani and his agenda, and he co-owns it. And Chuck Schumer flirted with it. He flirted with that open endorsement till the better end, even though Mamdani is an activist against Israel and an anti-Semite. Chuck Schumer is the highest-ranked Jewish official in America. Even he couldn't bring himself to disclaim that. And as we've noted here every day, the sole reason for the entire federal government being shut down now, the sole reason for all the American people suffering all this pain and hardship is because of the fear of political retribution from the far-left activists who run the Democrat Party. But there's some things that we really need to point out.
Isn't it amazing when the Democrats have lost the plot so bad that Speaker Johnson looks like Abraham Lincoln? Maybe not Lincoln, but looks like Reagan by comparison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Democrats, you done goofed.
Yep. Calling them right on out.
Yeah, I don't think anyone needs to remind us, though, about Chuck Schumer being the top-ranking member of the tribe in the country. We all know. If he wasn't busy wringing his hands in front of Donald Trump, maybe it'd be a little less obvious. But that's another joke for another day. Hey, Dee, welcome back.
Yes, welcome back, Dee.
Thank you.
So what did you think about that video? You missed it.
I think I didn't miss it.
No.
It was Mike Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I didn't actually hear what he was saying.
You're okay.
But did you guys see Rand Paul today fighting for hemp?
No, I did not.
Well, I think it was Mitch McConnell. I don't know. He gave a speech about it. They're all concerned about the THC, so they say, and their bourbon industry. So someone tried to write a provision to make hemp illegal. Hemp is already legal in all states. It has been.
Yes.
So with the bill they were trying to pass today, they were trying to make it illegal in Kentucky. And so that was one of the things Rand Paul was trying to get a amendment to, which failed. The vote for that failed. And so anyway, they're back to their same old shenanigans. You know,
Wow.
bunch of shady shit going on.
And you know why they don't want hemp growing? Because it has so many multi-uses.
Right.
It's one of the strongest fibers that you can use.
Somebody was claiming last week that it's also an EMF blocker. Right
Yeah.
on, Jerry. But I had not heard that before.
I haven't
It
either.
doesn't mean it's not true. I cannot confirm or deny that. I feel like I would have heard that before.
Yeah.
In the long list of things that is, hemp can do.
Well, let's just remember hemp has a lot of medicinal properties, and I don't mean the tripper or the THC. It's been shown to help people fighting cancer by shrinking the size of tumors, things of that sort. So big pharma, you want to know who's opposing it. Look at everybody gets it. Like,
Yes.
when it comes to peace in the Middle East, you look at who's getting funded by Israel. When it comes to hemp, look at who's getting funded by big pharma. Usually you'll find your votes out real quick.
They had Mitch McConnell in a pharmaceutical laboratory coat, and another one I can't remember, that JLR. I was watching him.
Hey, All First Kingdom.
Hi, All First Kingdom. Good to see you, honey. Been thinking about you. Need to give a call, see how you're doing.
But still, even something
Mm.
like that, that you can grow from a seed that the government can control,
Oh, I'm so exhausted of this one.
overreach.
It is. Oh, there was another thing I wanted to ask Sean too. I can't remember what it was. Something else was going on. Shoot, what was it? Mm,
I was going to ask if
mm.
I'll give you specifics later if you're up for traveling in December. I'm not going to say what, but you at least not out here. But yeah, if you're up for traveling, Dee will talk a little later.
Not usually in December. I got an
Okay.
offer
Oh,
from my cousin in South Dakota to come out in December too today. It's funny.
oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
South
Well,
Dakota was, if I remember, that was the one state that didn't shut during COVID. So
That's
there's a
right.
lot of yep, a lot of like-minded
And you
people
know
out
what?
there.
He had the nerve to say to me, "You gotta stop with that fear of flying crap." I was like, "Buddy, you have no idea. It's not about fear of flying." I just said we don't travel around the holidays much. We did it once, and we said never again.
Wasn't it a year ago when a plane fell off or a door fell off a plane?
yeah. With
Yeah, I kind of think it's a good fear to have right now. Just saying.
yeah, I saw this one guy. He was talking about flying. He just got in last night, and um, he said the airport looked like zombie land. There were people sleeping on the floors all the way across it, waiting for flights. It was taking days for people to get from one state to another.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm done flying for a while. I done did my flying. I've been to Chicago and Texas in a month. I am done for a while.
Yep. And I think that maybe the delays were just starting when you came,
Yeah.
that that was kind of a precursor to what was going to be.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's
I know the storm was
right. The storm
unavoidable.
is,
Yeah.
yeah. That's totally understandable too. It's like I don't want them to
Yes.
land in it if they're not comfortable in it or if they don't think we can make it. It's like, yeah,
Yes.
that's fine. We can go back to LA. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. But even the trip home seemed to
Yeah,
be
it was.
delayed.
And it is,
Well,
they weren't getting paid. And remember, I got harassed too by some not so happy unpaid TSA people in LA's airport.
Yes.
wait. What happened? I didn't hear about this.
Oh my gosh. I put my purse through the, you have to put it in a bin and then it goes down the little thing. Well, this one lady tells me, don't put it in the bin. And then this other lady tells me to put it in the bin. And she's all snotty and stuff. And I look at her and I'm tired and crabby too. And I was like,
Your
this
vets.
is after
Thank you.
staying at the Westin for like 4 hours after we didn't make our plane. We had to been diverted. We had to deplane after flying all the way to Phoenix. We were taken back to LA and everything. And anyway, I was super tired and I was like, well, you guys need to get on the same page because she told me this and he told me that and she told me that. Well, I go through this guy just tells me, come on. I didn't have to go through the x-ray thing. Three of us made it through on the other side. And then I'm looking for my purse and I see it come down. I see it come down. And then this guy ends up taking it and walking it back up to where you begin. And I'm like starting to get a little sick feeling. I'm like, what's he doing? I got nothing in there, do I? What do I got in there? I'm start panicking. And he comes back and he doesn't have my tote or purse or anything. I'm like, hey man, where's my purse? He goes, oh, you didn't see it? I think the police officer got it or something. He says to me. I'm like, what? I said, no, man, where's my purse? He goes, oh, don't worry, it'll be down in a few minutes. He says to me. And so then it did come down the conveyor belt, but they were totally messing with me. They did not like me telling them to get on the same page. Oh, I heard somebody grumbled too, right before they took the purse and did that. We're not getting paid, rah, 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 rah," you know. And I was like, shit, I should have kept my mouth shut. You know,
Mhm.
should have
So this
shut
was
up.
this was fairly recent, is what you're telling me, though.
Oh yeah, this was like 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
Three.
Okay, I was gonna say
three.
if it was a little bit more recent from when, I was gonna be very pissed because that'd be interfering in our business. If you know what I'm saying.
Mm.
Mhm.
So
Well, that video. I sent that video to someone today, Bonnie. It was 2 weeks ago when we did that Hotel California stream.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Or it could have been longer though, because it probably doesn't go to 3 weeks until you're actually at 7 days. I don't know. It was what, the 24th or 5th. I was out there of October. So
Yeah.
whatever it is, 2-3 weeks. It's about 2 or 3 weeks.
Too long.
yeah,
Yeah. It was a quick trip, but it was a fun trip.
Yes. It needed to
We
be
got a
longer.
lot done. I mean, we got a lot in. I wouldn't say comparatively to what you have to do that we got a lot done, but like we were able to do a lot of things in that short amount of time, I thought.
Well, the main thing was the visit. I mean,
Well, I
I
am a
didn't want
professional.
you. I know, but I didn't want you working the whole time. I
I
wanted,
don't care. I told you I am gonna. And then that first day I couldn't though. I was so damn tired.
yes, and understandably so.
Sean's still talking about the 13th Amendment.
we kind of went off of that, but
Okay.
Yeah.
we uh, we did a pretty good dive on it. I mean, I can keep going into more and more researchers and more evidence and more, you know, uh, what I would call concrete rebuttals. But I don't want to like do the thing where we give everybody all this info and they never go learn it for themselves or they never go research it for themselves. So what I will
Um,
do, uh,
What do you think you're
maybe
teasing them?
you'll,
well,
well, no,
No.
go ahead, Bonnie.
I was gonna read some of these and see what you um thought about it because I keep seeing people bring up like the Patriot Act, and this says um is gone. It's not. It expired. Have you heard that?
Well, they can let
I
it
hadn't
expire,
heard
but
it.
they keep renewing it. They renew provisions. Usually, the wireless
Mm.
surveillance is one of the provisions they renew.
Oh, okay.
So it's not completely removed that I know of. And even if they say to remove it, we know the NSA and CIA, they'll just change the name of the program that they're doing their surveillance through or the way they do the surveillance, Instead of, looking at the data at 12 midnight, we look at it at 1 in the morning. See, we're not doing it the same way anymore. It's different. Yeah,
So this is no
I'm not a
longer
fan of them.
kind of
Of course, I'm not an AI Watt.
beautiful dog.
My
Puppy,
ghosty. My ghosty
puppy,
girl.
got a
She's the
happy tail.
biggest photo bombing dog I've ever had in my life. And here's my killer dog. She almost lost an eye the other night from the
Oh
bear.
no,
Yeah, the bear got
bear.
her. Yeah. Oh, I got a video to show you guys. I really do. I should
You have
send
a
it to
California,
Bonnie.
you have a
No,
California bear attacking your dogs, or what's going on here?
let me
Yes,
see if I can send this bear or photo or video to Bonnie. I wonder if you can play this, Bonnie. Let me
I
see.
don't know.
It's a
I
minute
thought we
long. Let's see.
I thought California hunted all the black bears out of the state. Wow.
Oh no, 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 no! Wait till you see this. You won't believe this one. This one was a little bit of a shocker for me. I said, oh my gosh, really?
Thank you, Ella.
There is some foul language, I will say.
Well, it's a bear. We'll bear with it.
Yeah, it was kind of, it's my son who's talking to the bears.
Did you email it to me?
I just texted it. You want me to email it instead? Is that
Please.
better? Okay.
Yeah. My phone is
I
charging.
know how that is. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
And to be certain, these weren't football
Yeah.
players, right?
No.
These
Oh, it won't let
they
me.
weren't the
Oh.
Bears.
It won't let you
You're from
email it?
Chicago.
No.
Well,
You're
Yeah,
from
the
Chicago. I
bears.
thought you'd appreciate
I
that.
did get
The
it. It
Bears.
just hit me late. It hit me late.
and it won't let you share and
No, because it's a minute and one. It let me. I thought it let me text it to you, but it's
Depends
saying
on the
it's.
file size.
I'm trying it again. Files are trying to exceed the limit of attachment. Oh fuck you.
See? Yeah, the size.
Let's see. How else could I do it? I think I sent it to you I sent it to you in your text. Can you email it to yourself?
let me see.
It went through your phone. That's weird. Oh, it might not let you email it either because it's going to tell you it's too
I know.
long. I probably have to upload it onto YouTube. Maybe I'll do that and then I could just
Yeah,
save. I'll just send you the link. I'll keep it unlisted because I don't really want to
let
have
me
it
see
out
what's
there.
happening. Okay, it didn't tell me it was too big.
Oh, okay. Maybe you could play it.
Thank you for the info, Watt.
Mm.
He's posting about the Patriot Act. Kind of
Yes, it's
keeping with
all
that
that.
point as well.
Signal. Thank you, Navy vet. That's a good idea too. Wildlife. I always do appreciate all your contributions. They are very, very good.
Yes.
They're full of heart. I think it was the bear that got him. I think you'll see why I think it was the bear that got him. Yes, I really
If
do.
it was a panther, you would have heard the
Mm.
screaming from the cat. If it was a puma,
Yeah. Right. Well, I didn't know. I figured it was either a cat or a bear, because when they bark a certain way, it's more serious than a deer. They can chase the deer, and the deer eventually just outrun them or whatever. And but when it's that, sometimes I can hear them having something treed too, like something's up there. One time I came out front one morning, and in the front yard, this was a whole different pack of dogs back then. This was probably 10 years ago. In the front yard, the dogs had vomited up all this bear fur. I was like, what the fuck
ugh,
is all this stuff in the front yard? I couldn't figure it out. It was all like black. And bears stink. They have a very stinky smell. Um, I knew it was bear right away, even though
Is it
it had.
audio only?
No, it's a video. Is that what
It's
only
not
come over?
playing.
Okay. All right, I'll upload it onto YouTube, I guess. Let's see if I can. It's only a minute. It shouldn't take long.
Yeah.
Um,
Couldn't even hear the audio. I don't know.
Let me come back. Let me just drop out for a couple minutes. It'll be a lot quicker if I do it that way. I'll
sure
Okay.
be
thing.
back. Okay.
So all of that is null and void because of the AI being allowed for the next 10 years to do whatever it wants.
Yeah, we're still under surveillance. That's the crazy part.
Yeah. And now, what happened to that phone? Now that one died. Okay. I don't have it anyway. Oh, goodness.
So, what were you saying about the Patriot Act while we wait for D?
Well, I was just gonna. Oh, now it came back. Well, isn't that something? Um, so it was, I've always heard it was a really bad thing, right? It is a U.S.
Yeah.
law granting law enforcement more powers to prevent terrorist attacks. That's their view of it. And, but then it goes to um, protecting the American people against terrorists. And, and
So
I don't know why they don't think that um, people coming into this country who want to change the whole country to their way are not considered terrorists. It's kind of confusing to me.
well, I'll go
Um,
one different. You know, Ed Snowden revealed this, and so did William Binney, and also Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer. They had a program that Schaefer was using, where you could actually pinpoint who the terrorists were, leading into 9/11 and so on. And Congress didn't want that; it was too precise. They wanted instead, the Congress and the military, the Pentagon wanted a bulk data collection. They wanted all the data. And so, whether it's William Binney, rest in peace, whether it's Ed Snowden, whether it's Schaefer, whoever's testimony you listen to on the matter, they don't care about the terrorists. They want to know what everyone is doing at all times so they could control society. Versus, they basically, instead of, they were originally looking for a needle in a haystack and finding it. Now they've basically created 100,000 haystacks, and they don't care about the one needle. Instead, they want all the hay.
right. And
I don't know if that's like a good analogy, but it's the analogy that I pick, and I stand by it. I yield.
and so it looks like that it went from that to the USA Freedom Act, enacts sweeping reforms to surveillance programs, ending bulk collection, creating a panel of experts at the FISA court, and mandating transparency. But the bill also preserves key authorities. Section 215 will remain a valuable counterterrorism tool for the FBI.
In other
But
words, a way they can find J6ers, you
yes,
know?
it gives them the freedom to. Uh, so it the claim is for the police, FBI, all of them to work together. And so now we see how it's being used, even with ICE, is the complete surveillance that we have going on, where they can even use ring cameras on your home, or probably your phones, whatever it is. And but then it goes into the um, then I had found what are freedoms given to citizens. The 5 freedoms it protects: speech, religion, press, assembly, and the right to petition the government. Together, these 5 guaranteed freedoms make the people of the United States of America the freest in the world. Notice it says assembly in there. Just want to make sure y'all heard that. And
Yes, ma'am.
what are the 5 basic human rights? Human rights include the right to liberty, life and liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, the right to work and education, and many more. Everyone is entitled to these rights without discrimination, supposedly. So, um, human rights violations.
Well, let me put this out there for you, Bonnie. They've they have known for a long time that there's stuff sideways with that J6 pipe bomber. Now
Hmm.
it's coming out like it was a girl who worked for the Capitol Police. And as soon as that was all over with, she went and got transferred into the CIA. So, we could track down grandmas with American flags within days, but this person, the J6 pipe bomber, well, they're going to work for the CIA. We gotta keep their identity secret. The person
Yes.
who was putting up, fake bombs or whatever to create the bomb threat to set up J6. How dare they pick and choose who they're going to surveil and who they're not, who they're going to frame and who they're not? Well, that's how you know you're being ruled by people who think they're the kings and queens of you. They think they're better than you, that they can pick and choose how to apply justice and instead of applying justice for all.
Yes.
So maybe I sound a little hot headed, but I'm
Well,
trying
I
to be very
understand
accurate.
because there was a great amount of veterans there that day, and um, seems that a lot of them got the brunt of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the pipe bomb was the night before, which excused them bringing the FBI in to make it look like, everything had a reason to be locked down. And once the FBI are in, you're basically in a crime scene. So all those people who are at the marches and at the demonstrations and at the speeches were essentially trespassing on a crime scene. Yeah, they really did the J6ers over. And again,
Yes.
we as Americans, if we were better educated, we wouldn't have fallen for it. Four Corners, myself, Vex, others. We had that full full discussion. Should we all carpool, go to J6 or not?
Mm.
Why not? And Destry and Four Corners were able to make a very compelling case. And I myself, after their case, I was like, well, they had a December demonstration for Stop the Steal, and Antifa was caught, attacking patriots and dressing up as patriots, trying to start fights. I
Yes.
envisioned that, yeah, J6 was going to be more of that. And damn it, we were correct.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, there was one guy that was trying to break a window, and the Patriots stopped him, grabbed him, pulled him back from the window, and told him to stop.
well,
And
it gets even better. Those window breakers were speaking Ukrainian.
oh wow,
And who does business with the Ukrainians? Hunter Biden.
yep,
I'm telling you guys, our country's being ran by two big lobbies, the Israel lobby and the Ukrainian lobby. And the Ukrainians basically are the Israelis, if you know, you know.
yeah,
So there's your nexus, ladies and gents. Now, is Trump gonna honestly prosecute all this stuff? I think he's doing the whole let it simmer down and let it be forgotten about. But the problem is if you don't pursue justice, the bad actors will act up again because once you know past criminal behavior, you can predict future criminal behavior. So we
exactly.
have Congress. We have Congress. They made their deal. Now, let's say in about 2 weeks, there'll be another crisis that's going to be created. And again, they're going to try to make it Trump's
Excuse me.
fault. And it's going to try to be, poor people versus Trump is the narrative, or minorities versus Trump. So we
Hmm.
got to educate the minorities. I know it's detestable to have to do so, but yes, we're going to have to speak to these people and tell them, to wake up, snap out of it, and that it's not Trump's fault. Like this last issue, we could point that at Congress and made a very strong statement to everyone that we have 53 votes. It only takes 60. Obviously, we need 7 Democrats to say yes. So don't blame the Republicans on this one. That was very good. We need to be like that. We need to educate the American people on civics. Which, if you look at the URL that's below my name, gee, there might be people who do teach about civics besides us here. You might say we're a national assembly of sorts. Just saying.
I am dying to show you this court case website. But I'll have to. I'll wait. I'll wait, and I also have to switch onto my computer if I were to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the court cases I'm interested in too, D. So don't
Yeah.
tease me too much about it.
Okay, I'm gonna switch over. I'll be right back.
Well, it's the
Yeah,
same.
we have
Whoops.
we have bears to talk about too. We got a lot tonight on our schedule. This is a big show.
It was the same with 9/11 too, though. If once people realized what the real deal was, we should have been speaking up. And
I'm going to do you one better, Bonnie. Okay, we realize that not all Muslims are terrorists, just these CIA Mujahideen assets were. That didn't
yes,
stop us from letting our government get out of our control, bombing more of the Middle Eastern people to create resentment for a generation. To now they feel they're justified to come back here and bomb us.
yes,
So you see, we
it
we
could
got
be.
to uncluster the mess that we inherited from the neocons and the neoliberals, and
Yes.
it's like
What are
while we
the
got to do our civic and fix everything, we also got to de-escalate all the millennials and Zoomers who think they're in the right to be violent and agitated. So it's a juggling act. Go ahead.
It definitely is. Um, I was just saying, what do they call it? Um, when you create something,
You're
something,
referring
and
to the problem,
yes,
problem, problem, crisis, solution,
there you go.
synthesis, anti-synthesis, and forget the third part, but it's the Hegelian dialect. The Navy vet said, "Lion, tigers, and bears, oh my."
Mm,
Yeah, my version of that is Freemasons, Jesuits, and Kabbalists. Oh my, aren't they all the same at this point?
there she is.
Can I get a 5 by 5?
5 by 5.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Cool. All right, let me share my screen with you. I keep wanting to do a stream about this. I am going to stream and share this, but for now, it's a little overwhelming,
Put that up there.
There it is. Okay, so let's see. How do I get to it? Let me think. Only way I know how to get to it. I think I'm going to change this when I do the stream. I think it's going to be called Living in the Pacific Northwest is what it's going to be called. But what I've done is I grabbed a few of the cases that I found. You're going to see what a rabbit hole this little database is of court cases. And I think you're going to like it. I can't wait to find it. Where is it? It's called Unsealed. I think I got it in here as Unsealed Cases. Why can't I see it? Oh, here it is. Okay. It's under military. I put it under military. Okay, so can you see it, Sean? And everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
I see a bunch of bright colors and a bunch of file numbers and things.
Lots of pretty colors, right? So the oldest date that I've seen is 2017 for the year. And then the most recent for Northern California, because California is divided up into a bunch of districts. This starts with Central. I think it has about every state here. And they are color coded there's lots of different color codes, but I also discovered something yesterday. There's Guam,
There's a bunch for Hawaii. Sometimes they're in red, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're in black and white. So I'm trying to get to, I want to show you Northern California. There's Puerto Rico. Now let's find
Oh, y'all, what they're doing to Jamaica.
Eastern District of California. Kentucky, there's a lot there. Come on. There's Northern California. Crying out loud. This thing
Reading
goes
Rainbow.
on, doesn't it?
Eastern
Texas,
District of Pennsylvania.
they're all there. They're all there. You can find your own little territory. I would be willing to bet money if you're looking for some. Okay, here's Northern California. Now I can't open a lot on the right side except for one here. It doesn't really open much for me. It's just some weird thing. But if I go down, oh, wait, that's a new, no, that's 2018. What was the oldest one? I saw, shoot, 2025 for California. But anyway, we're going to go up to here. That's weird. One of my database. I should have got this together more. I thought I was going to be bam, bam. Oh, here we go. Bam, bam. Oh, hopefully, is this still California? No, I'm probably in another state. Ruh-roh. Bonnie, we looked at it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's California. Let me go down here to 2025. Okay, here we go. This is what I want. Okay, so this is one file I'm opening up, okay? One file in this database opens up to a whole bunch of different things, cases. These are all USA versus. And then these are the judges' names. Okay. Now, I see Eureka's judge. Robert Illman is also an Oakland judge. And I know I know one of the cases that he's involved in Humboldt has to do with, well, there's a lot he's involved in, but he denied a lot of the appeals for the abatement cases that I've been following, where they've been doing the satellite image, finding people for claiming they're growing cannabis, but they're really not. Okay, so let me show you something else about it. That goes deep. There's so much there, but something I just discovered. This was pretty cool. This was a 5-minute video with Kennedy. But let's see. Is it the search? The Free Federal Criminal Database. Yeah, this one is an interesting one. This one is clearly getting worked on and it gets added to up here at the top. You see unsealed, cases filed, sealed, unsealed. It's just going to take you back to this list. The unsealed ones. I'll prove it. See. And then you have sealed as well. This is interesting. The Bad Boys. I don't know what that's about. You've got something about Bad Boys here. There's docket sheets, press releases. I haven't even gone into that at all, but I have noticed a lot of new channels in my feed and algorithm that are dealing with a lot of stuff like this. So that's a lot for you guys to try to, go dig in yourself. I think it's plenty.
So what do the colors mean on that nation right there?
Let me see.
The red to the blue.
Yeah.
So this red says Wyoming, talking the area. Population sealed, 69 unsealed, 2,100. HT, y'all know what that is, 87. Puff files, 88. Drugs, 560. Firearms, 423. It's crimes. This is a criminal database. So I suppose what it's going to show us, and down here there's more. There we go. Okay, so that's the color coding. It's whatever we're clicked on the bottom here. So these are what it says in the right corner, top unsealed by state, right? Texas.
Could you click for us, Dee, the little selection at the bottom that says homicide?
You got it.
I think there'd be a chuckle.
Oklahoma. Top homicide. Arizona. Oklahoma 1, Arizona, New Mexico. Whoops, what happened?
So the blue are the top homicide areas?
I don't know what the blue is. I can't freaking see this. I need to make this smaller or something.
At the top, you have a sliding gradient thing of red to blue. It's a bar on the top above the country.
Yeah.
We do need to find out what that color code means. Now, I do know some states, the numbers are so bad they don't report. So those would probably be the states that show up as gray. It's 50-50.
Mm.
Let me drop this link for anyone that wants it. Grab it now, I guess. You can. I'll go back to it, but I just want to drop it if anybody wants it.
I dropped it.
Oh, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
So, yeah, Sean, that was one case. Now, one thing I thought was, this is where I thought these were all judges that were being sued, because my dumb ass didn't see it up here say prejudge name. They're just assigned to the case, but that doesn't mean there aren't some judges that are going to be. But for a reason, I thought they were all, magistrate judges who were being sued, because I don't know how to read this shit, So I don't think that's what it is. It just says prejudge name. But Illman is involved in a lot of cases in Humboldt County. So
Well,
yeah, this is
he's
called the Federal
prolific.
Criminal Database. Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
He's prolific, and because of that, you might be able to show him having a bias towards certain verdicts. I don't know if that would get him removed from the bench, but that could be a handy tool, is tracking his verdict. Now, I did notice too, you had a sub-listing in there. It said magistrate judges.
Yeah.
As in they listed
Saw
something
that.
else.
Right.
Yeah. So folks might want to know what a
Right.
magistrate is. That's future education for y'all. We won't talk about that tonight, but that's if you're dealing with a magistrate, you may not be dealing with quite the same specifics as when you're dealing with a regular judge.
Yeah, he's not even given a title as judge or magistrate, which is interesting.
Now, maybe there's something going on with his bar oath or something similar. Who knows?
There's the sealed ones down below. Now, something that's new since yesterday, I will say, I actually had clicked on the HT one up here and nothing was there. And now this is a new, they're working with Excel. This is a massive database, clearly, to go from, these cases and then to open up one thing here on the right. And then all of a sudden you've got all these, and I don't even know if these are all cases, but it's just a lot. It's a lot of information. Clearly there's a lot going on that in all the states, right? In all the states. So.
Well, let me put this thought out there for you, Dee. Just because there's a lot of case numbers. Yeah, just because there's a lot of case numbers doesn't necessarily mean these are all criminals, right? They're all innocent until proven guilty. This could all be, like you said, for the abatements, or it could all be cases, say, for expired car tags or whatever. It could be people who didn't want to pay their taxes. There is a lot of cases that are in the system that are needless, And if we could get ourselves back to common law jurisdiction, no victim, no crime, I guarantee you that database would probably drop by anywhere from 10 to 25% easily.
I wanted you to see this one, Sean.
Sure.
Can you see it, or do you
let's
want me to
read
read it to you?
Okay, Northern District Court. Does it say Phyllis J? Is that Hamilton?
Yes.
Okay, habeas corpus mandamus. Judgment signed by the judge on the date. Have been served by first class mail to address record of electronic firing. That's
But
interesting.
nature of suit. Read nature of suit. 540.
Hold on, let me scroll up.
Okay.
Nature of suit is a 540 prisoner petitions, habeas corpus mandamus, and others.
That's
Yeah, it's
540.
under civil rights.
That's 540. Because when you bear down into them, you can see each case. They want you to pay for it, but in some of them, I've been able to see some of the names. There's other ones that say like 700 and something prisoner petitions. A lot of civil rights cases.
Correct. People get to once you get to the jails, if there's a library in your jail, you start learning where they railroad you. And naturally, you start asking for the different writs to prove whether you were justly or unjustly prosecuted and convicted.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, those writs, at least out here in California, they've screwed all us over, because now you have to have a writ, you have to get it from the Attorney General, Bonta, and to even approach him, you have to have an attorney prepare your documents to ask for that writ. So they've
What is a writ? What is a writ? Before you go on, what does it mean?
It's a instrument. I'm going to sound stupid saying this. It's a written instrument in cases of court procedures. I'm going to give you the layman's term. It expects it's to create a motion, or it is a motion to move things or get information or do things in a certain way. There's about 6 or 7 of them. Writ of habeas corpus is the most famous one. Produce evidence. Show us the proof of what you're saying or alleging. There's the writ of certiorari, which is where you refer stuff in the lower court cases to a higher court, and they whether or not to proceed on it. There's a few of them. Mandamus was real popular, and I believe mandamus. Oh gosh, I'm trying to. Now you got me towards the end of the broadcast when my caffeine's wearing off. Not to make an excuse for myself, but mandamus was really popular for a while, right around and before 2020. Everybody wanted to do writs of mandamus, yet not knowing that the writ of mandamus is not a panacea for every court case. What was the other? There's a few.
Yeah, that's good.
Go ahead.
I'm losing you. I'm sorry. I just wanted to know what a writ was, but I don't know if I still don't know.
Well, you file a writ of mandamus, for example.
Is it a document or what? I mean, can you give me a simpler definition? I'm sorry, you gave a lot of examples, but I don't know. I still don't know what
they're a type of document. Say I do the writ of habeas corpus, demanding that the prosecution produce the evidence of my alleged crime. The judge can then say your motion for the writ of writ of habeas corpus is denied. The judge wants to prosecute you without you knowing what your evidence is. That would be an example of a judge abusing his power by denying it. Usually in you either have discovery or you have the writ of habeas corpus to get evidence to come out. There's a few others. I
don't want to know them because it's just going to confuse me. Too many words are not helping right now. But
you apply the writs. The judge can either deny or affirm them, and that continues to keep the ball moving in the court. It's a type of motion, but it's a written document as well. Remember, everything's in writing in these courts, be they
kind of a motion. So is it kind of a motion? Is that what it is?
yeah, and it's one for you to not only assert your rights, but it's a tool for remedy. That's the best
Yeah.
way for me to sum it up. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm so ticked with our Attorney General. Were the writs were really your way to fight these courts. And now here in California and across the country, you had the grand juries could help you fight the courts, and you could have the writs to help you as an individual fight these courts. And they've taken away remedy for most of the individuals. So when you hear us in the assembly saying the grand juries from the assembly are about the only thing left for us to use, that's because it's true. So if you bring things into common law, you can use the writs that exist in common law and get things done that way. But in the de facto, like I said, California screwed it up. There's a few other states where you can still file your writs. Maybe like I would think maybe like in a Texas or in a Wyoming or whatever. So you might be okay to file writs out there. This is speculation on my end. A certain friend of ours, D in Michigan, would be a really good expert to consult with on that, to be honest. So we might have to do a refresher class for myself and just a class for us all to go, hey, do we need to do writs for this type of court case or not? And most of the time, you wouldn't even need to do that. You could take your issue, $25 or more, Seventh Amendment, to a grand jury, have the grand jury make the decision because, ladies and gentlemen, we the people assembled create the grand juries, which are the highest court in the land, higher than the Supreme Court. Did I just say that? Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. I was trying to find. Oh, maybe it's on this docket. There's one of these places where it's like 72 pages of cases for Humboldt County, and I don't think it didn't exactly look like this. It was totally different. But I think I'm done sharing everything. It's probably enough,
Well,
probably
I
over.
scooped up that URL, so I'll utilize that later. I just can't paste it right now, or I'll boot myself out of the chat.
I don't know how do I stop sharing. Let's see. You can turn off the stop screen share. I think I took away my ability to. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that gets me overwhelmed because I've done some deep diving in that database and it is endless. And it's really interesting that it really just was compiled starting in 2017.
Hopefully it's not kicking you. It did. Dang it. Sorry,
That's
D.
all right. We'll get her back onto the thing.
Yeah,
But
I would learn that the difference between a FOIA request and a writ. A lot of that is foreign language to me.
we have we have done those classes in our assembly calls and meetings and stuff. So I can't say too bad, but you never know when there might be a future one done again. That's the thing. It's just because we talk about the assembly doesn't mean we don't address tools you would need to have at your I don't want to say at your hip, but at your ready. If you need them for your assembly or the purposes of your assembly, because that FOIA request may lean into the grievance your assembly wants to file with the governor. And you can find a lot of information on those things. You go to national-assembly.net. I know I'm bringing it full circle because let's say you want to discuss that 13th Amendment and get some Esquire to flee the courtroom. Well, holy smokes. A lot of my research I just happened to put on national-assembly.net. And it wasn't even really my research. I had the privilege of being, given different rabbit holes on that 13th Amendment. So I compiled everything I could find in a thread. So if you go into the general off-topic forum and place in the search bar 13th Amendment, you will come up with a bunch of results, and also in the old historical document forum. Yeah. So yeah, we have all kinds of stuff saved up and archived there, and I'm just surprised more Americans don't take advantage of it. Instead, people try to spam it with video game results and crap. And it's like, what are you people doing? In fact, I got to go back there tonight, log in as a moderator and delete those video game posts, because you got people doing that, and you got other idiots trying to spam either crypto or spam counterfeit money stuff. And it's just like, Yeah, that's someone trying to, clog up our network and our platform as we the people, trying to clog it up with their crap because God forbid we actually have a unmolested website that gives the people remedy.
Yeah.
Hey, Dee's backing us. Yay.
Yes. And Dee, I do appreciate you sharing that because
Yeah.
it is interesting.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool
right.
tool.
And
Yeah, I want to
noticed,
send that to Nancy too. I think she'll get it.
Yeah.
I think she'll like that, don't you think?
Well, we might be able to cross-check, like I said, cases, and you can see if a judge has
I've
ruled
cross-checked
for or
Humboldt's.
against.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've cross-checked Humboldt's. That Judge Illman, I was already familiar with him. The cases all verify. So, I mean, that case verifies the dates and everything. Because, of course, I thought, that would be an elaborate made-up database, but it's not that it couldn't be possible. You definitely have to trust but verify. Just like with the Grok stuff, that's just another resource. First time I asked Grok who the mayor of Eureka was, I got two different answers from a Friday to a Monday. And I'm like, hey, I called it out, and anyway, it's just another resource like a book that is someone's opinion. It's not gospel, for sure. It's not. You have to just keep digging. It can't be the only source, is what I'm saying. For something.
Well, that's what you missed on our 13th Amendment discussion. Grok couldn't even tell us the correct 13th Amendment. It gave us 4 different 13th Amendments before it settled for titles of nobility.
I was listening.
Okay.
I was
Oh, let's go back to our judge, though. Our Judgy Wudgy, our really good pal.
okay.
If that document, if that database lets you see his decisions, if it goes one better and lets you see the grounds for his decisions, if he writes his opinions like the Supreme Court, where they write their dissents and their opinions that support their decisions, if he is shown on these grounds, he dismisses this case. On this ground, he convicts. On this ground, he recuses himself, whatever. You can figure out what his arguments are and then present your case in front of him with the arguments that will hold him to task to his prior precedent. Ding, ding. You get it?
Yeah.
And then if he's shown to be ruling differently from his prior precedent, you have him essentially showing himself as an incompetent in the eyes of the court. You can make him flee the bench in theory. Now, remember, I'm saying in theory because I'm not offering legal advice, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just telling you what I would observe as a layman that, hey, it looks like this judge contradicts himself on the record, which that's the other thing, folks. Get yourselves into courts of record. Oh, and Dee, did I tell you? I found the Victor Misselli Law Library in downtown Riverside. I know where it's at now. Huzzah!
Wow. I'm asking for the screen again, Bonnie, if you don't mind. What about it? Say it again. I'm sorry.
Victor Misselli Law Library, downtown Riverside. So I found my city and county's law library. Remember, they took away yours. We still have ours. So I'm gonna probably make a field trip down there and see what I can see. And then I'll report back to you guys with my findings about how it went.
Okay.
I know it sounds. I like to flesh the places out before I go and sit in them for an hour or two reading their books, or getting a library card and asking for their books or paying or whatever it is. So I'm going to find out, on my end. So thank you for that idea of, like normally it was just a building in downtown Riverside. I go past it. I didn't pay attention. And then as I'm doing my thing with my bike in the courts, I kind of realized, hey, you should take a look, a little bit harder at this building. So just saying.
Yeah. That's weird. I'm not seeing my original question to Grok was about the mayor of Eureka. What did it do? It erased the shit. I screenshot you. If you
it doesn't keep them for that long. Yeah, it doesn't keep them for that long unless you use the little arrow symbol.
Oh,
That little arrow symbol. Yeah, that arrow symbol generates a link and it kind of commits it to Grok's memory. And then Grok does have a history of past conversations you can track. think it's in the top left corner when you're in the tab. So you'll have to go into like the x.com version of Grok, because it looks like you're using the you're using the Grok/X or whatever that is.
Okay, well, I have to go through my photos to there, I did it. To do my I know I took screenshots of it because I was like, Grok, you're lying. You told me the mayor on Friday was this guy, or the manager, the city manager. It gave me 2 different names. So and I was like, what? Did they remove our city manager? That was my first, because the first name he gave me was not who our city manager is. And I was like, well, who is this guy? And I wanted to start looking for him, and I was looking him up. And then Monday, it was like from a Friday to a Monday. Oh, I didn't know it deleted your stuff. I thought it was going to be there forever. That sucks.
So do
Nope.
y'all worry that asking Grok all these things is making a profile about you? Like,
No, don't worry. I know it is, but I ain't worried about it.
okay,
Oh, if nothing, it's making a profile with the NSA, because the NSA is getting it regardless.
right.
So if you're on the internet, folks, the NSA through PRISM knows what we're doing. That's why us having all these satellites is so important. And I would venture to say that those PRISM programs are even on the Starlink satellites. I can't be certain, but that'd be my guess. If it was standard operating procedure for AT&T and Sprint during the War on Terror. And by the way, folks, AT&T is the corporate base of the NSA. If you didn't know, yeah, the more you know. So
Anything you use through satellite is
anything
trackable.
wireless, yeah, anything wireless, it pings up into the satellite or the cell tower. That information is captured and then it pings along to whoever you dial or whoever you're talking to.
So
So that, yeah. Go ahead.
no way to, because I was thinking years ago, somebody said to get Signal. It's an app for your phone, and it goes to satellite. If all communications went down, it's supposed to work, but I don't see how it would if it's on your phone already.
As we learned from Pete Hegseth, even Signal's not completely secure.
Yes.
You know, if you get a bad apple in there, they can disrupt it, like the Hegseth Signal calls were. And that was the Biden administration that said for people to use Signal. So that should tell you something right there. Would you trust anything the Bidens recommend?
No.
Exactly.
I've never heard Biden say it, but I was hearing a lot of patriot groups and underground people saying,
Yeah.
should.
I was thinking it was before Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a platform that it's encrypted until the FBI or someone doesn't want it to be. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the VPN. You really think those VPNs, the NSA or FBI doesn't have a code or two that crack the VPNs?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the people who develop these products work for the government. You know, John McAfee, hello. You know,
Right.
I can go on and on. You know, of course, Jobs and and Gates. You know, they worked for Microsoft and Apple, and their biggest clients were also government. Bezos, Amazon, the cloud is used by the CIA. So none of this stuff is spy proof. It's only spy proof to the local police. If there's a crime, they can't demonstrate a need to crack the code and have the back doors opened up. Case in point, the San Bernardino shooters, where Apple didn't want to open up the phones because, oh my gosh, you might reveal how those San Bernardino shooters came over from the Middle East and intended to cause all these problems, and Apple, being woke, doesn't want to help out with that. But the police and the FBI went and cracked them anyway. Or let me rephrase that: Apple, quote unquote, cracked it rather than letting the FBI crack it. Which it means that the FBI put pressure on Apple. So Yeah, that's that's actually something I'm very happy about. We've been having troubles, but we haven't had a like San Bernardino or a Las Vegas level incident. Thank goodness. I hope it stays that way.
I know it.
Okay. I found it. I took the
Uh,
screenshot. I'm gonna call Grok out right now too.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. You betcha. Okay.
Well, while you do that,
Yes.
Cheryl says she doesn't think we can have much privacy anymore. That's what Faraday cages were invented for, or Faraday backpacks, like I have. So, use your Faradays and put the phones in other rooms when you go to bed at night so you don't get those EMF signals while you sleep. And also, so if you're worried about spying, hey, it's in a backpack in another room. Good luck with it spying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they make sheets of
Okay.
fabric that you can put over your router and things to block it.
Okay, I guess I don't have the question I asked it, but I do have the answer it gave me on May 23rd this year. It told me that Miles Slattery is no longer the city manager. And it gave me this other guy's name. Bill Panos was appointed as the new city manager. Appointed, right? By the Eureka City Council effective last year. Blah, blah, blah. No specific details about why Slattery left or what he's doing now. And I'm like, what the hell? Because he's still in the meetings. I double checked and he was still sitting there. Then I don't know why my questions aren't here. I thought I asked it, what do they do? He follows a 2040 general plan.
Uh-oh.
He's a dick. The quote I mentioned, let's see. Oh, then I guess that's it. I don't know. My questions don't seem to be there, and this was a whole different. I guess this day I was just trying Grok out. This was the first day that I was trying it out, and it was a big letdown. Okay, but
I agree.
yeah, but I did find I was trying to ask it because remember we were doing a lot of talk about water, and we still do in assembly and with the counties, and it seems to me like that could be a really good issue to get on the same page with that shouldn't be political. So I was trying to ask it to find me where somewhere in the California Constitution it is about our rights in water. So it did give me a little bit about the general welfare. Of course, this one thing it stated, I should just read it. It is hereby declared that because of the conditions prevailing in the state, the general welfare requires that the water resources of the state be put to beneficial use to the fullest extent of which they are capable, and that the waste or unreasonable use or unreasonable method of use of water be prevented. And let's see, that the conservation of such waters is to be exercised with a view to the reasonable and beneficial use thereof in the interest of the people and for the public welfare. And then Grok said, you can find this in the California Constitution, blah, blah, blah. So that, I wouldn't take it as gospel, but I it could help you in a shortcut type of sense is what I would say,
As a point of or as a fact of the matter, then D, we'd have to establish if it is indeed in California state constitution. That's a fair point. The next point then would Governor Newsom flushing all that fresh water into the San Francisco Bay because of the smelt. Is that a responsible, reasonable, conservation of our water? Or is that a waste of our water? So, Governor Newsom, we could put him on the hook for that one, politically speaking.
Not even just that one. It's how many rivers out here in Humboldt County run right into the ocean? I mean, it's there's a lot of things we could do better. There's primal water. We let them corral us and coerce us into what they want to sell us or make us dependent on them for. It's exhausting, There's a place in San Francisco. I got to find this one old video. The gal, I'm pretty sure it was by the gal Kirsten Durston. She does she travels around the world. I've shared a lot of videos by her. She does alternative living and stuff. And there's this house in San Francisco that these people live in, and they have massive amount of water running underneath it. And they like tend to it. It's like part of, I don't think it's part of the city system, but it might be. It's like no one's dependent on it, but it's just wild. Like there's lots of water, but they get us all really thinking that, there's only so much and we got to buy this bottled stuff or whatever. And
they might have rights. They might have rights to their water that's under their home, and it might be like an artisan well or a geyser or something. That's a very smart thing to do. Is if you have water on your property and you can get the claim to the water rights, make sure you keep your own water supply. Because water wars are the next big wars after oil wars, and Nestle's already pre-positioning to be the top player at that. Imagine if they ever do build an engine that's fueled by water. Everybody's going to want to take water into their homes to fuel their engines.
There is one. Norway built I put that in that those last links I just shared on that blog. Norway built a damless hydro power generator, I think. I think that's what it's called. But there's lots of things, right? There's lots of, they just try to make us think that we can only do this or we can only do that.
So are you saying that those Norwegians be damned? What?
Oh, that was so corny. It was funny. That was
I know.
Really good. Norway damless hydro plant. Yes. Engineers in Norway designed a damless hydro plant that produces power using air pressure. It was sitting right on the ground.
And if they do it wrong, it's ERR, air pressure.
You're full of it tonight, aren't you?
Yeah. No, the one thing that I was going to say is, I told you guys to look up that research on the 13th Amendment on the General Off-Topic Forum on national-assembly.net. There's like in that General Off-Topic Forum and other stuff. We have stuff from Faraday cage articles to what do you call it? The red light treatment articles. I mean, there's actually a whole bunch of other like forums besides assembly that people over the years put information in, water information, diet information. So for me, it's like when I tell you guys, there's over a decade of knowledge in here. It's like, well, not just that. You decide to take a day off from learning the assembly stuff. You're like, well, what do they want to say to me about microwave, ovens and EMF, and you look and it's like, oh, wow, someone did a thread on that, 4 or 5 years ago. So it's a pretty cool site. No one's making any money when you visit it or anything, but I like just plugging it because there is so much, it's like having a time capsule, and you can see everything from like the Obama era and the Tea Party to current. So, and then I was thinking the web link you gave us for that database, that would be something perfect for posting up there, and then just letting the assembly members figure out how they want to use it.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've had success. Maybe I have. I'll have to see. I am logged in. I do have an account. I'll have to see if I can download something on there. I don't know if I've had luck with that or not. I'm not so sure.
There's a conversation that keeps running in the chat about how cold things are, and it reminds me, because I said polar bear. Did we ever resolve the bear footage?
Oh, did you get the video, Bonnie?
Did you email it?
I think so. Let me see. Sent. Yep.
Well, you might say I want to see it because it's become a bare necessity.
Oh, golly. Too much. Mind the language. Mine's not in the nose. He's got a potty mouth. I don't know where he picked that up.
If you got bears messing with your dogs, I imagine you'd cuss up a storm.
Oh yeah,
You know?
he's telling them all right. Yeah, it's definitely understandable. I mean,
I would say the greatest achievement in the 250 years of the Marine Corps, they took a nice little boy like me and they gave him a cussing habit. Yeah, you guys don't hear
it's pretty
much on
good.
these calls.
The fruit of the spirit is self-control. Amen. You know, because you lock it in
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, but seriously, I wasn't a swearing type guy, and then boot camp comes along and they want you to sound off and cuss and this and that. And I realized, wow, these drill instructors make it into an art form.
Yeah.
You know, so
Can you
I
make it
managed
bigger?
to pick.
I hate these small
Ooh.
screens. So annoying.
Are those reflective eyes I see,
no.
or is that the?
No, you can't make it bigger.
Yeah,
it's a
that's
short. That's fine.
Okay, I see
play
three. Is that 3 sets of red reflective eyes, or is that one 3-eyed monster, or is that like 3 heads on
It's like a
a
trailer.
Those are reflections. Yeah, I should have just played it from my. I should just play it from my photos, Bonnie, so I can make it bigger.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, because yours is just blurry too, because it's on YouTube and it's. Let me just play it. I can make it bigger. Sean ain't gonna see shit on that camera. I think so. For eyes. I did think that we have this plastic wrap around one of our wood boxes the other night, and I ran into my husband. I was like, "Honey, there's a I've seen sets of eyes out there, but it wasn't the sets of eyes." And I don't know if you'll hear. Let me turn off my echo, so I guess that'll.
So when you ran into your husband,
Whoops.
did he say "excuse me" or "ouch"?
Hold on.
Sounded funnier in my head.
I think it was funny on your head. Okay, share my screen again. And let me check my audio too. I feel like I'll need that off. Okay.
Yeah, Navy Shark or Navy Shark Navy vet. I've seen them on YouTube doing the Baby Shark. Yeah.
All right, ready? Okay, here we go.
I used to create custom cadence when we were far enough away from
get the fuck out of here. You and your
well, yeah, exactly like that.
There's another one behind. Do you guys hear it? Do you hear my son talking?
What the fuck you think you're doing?
Yeah, I see it too.
Yeah, there's another one there, and there's actually a couple, and they go running to the right when he goes back, and they run in the brown pen.
Oh, you got a whole fucking family, don't you?
Here they go.
Was it Chumash or one of those other?
2 more eyes. See, here goes 2 more. They go running in the pen. So how many do you count?
That's what, 3 or 4?
Here, right now.
Yeah, it's 4.
Yeah, just get some noisemakers to scare them.
That's what he says. He runs in the house. He's like, I need something loud. He needs something loud. So that was fun. That was the other night. I was like, oh,
Jerry says black bears are harmless.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
mess with the cubs when a mother's around.
Yeah. They can do some damage. We don't want to hurt them or anything. We really just want them to move on, you know. They are pretty harmless. They can be, but yeah, you mess with their cub, obviously they have a reputation for that, you know.
I'm trying to remember the name of the casino. It's an Indian casino. It's up in your area, Haji. It's got the bears. It's got the bears out front that are carved out of wood.
D, can you do your?
I didn't see you. I saw Double Dog in there. What?
Did you do your echo thing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm yelling at you.
I'm not yelling.
I was yelling at you, I said. Yes. Hard to hear me. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. Yep, I'm tired. What time is it? Where you been, Devil Dog? You guys,
Good to
You're
see you,
too
dog.
you're too quiet. Are you trying to eat now too, woman? Is that what's going on? She is. She is. I knew it.
Yep. Happy
Now,
birthday to the Marines.
the
Some good videos.
the bear situation there, D, I was going to say,
Hmm.
they're going to go where they smell food and stuff. So my question is, did your son have something out that attracted them by way of like smelling good, like food or trash cans they wanted?
No. Mm-mm.
No?
Nope. No chickens. No trash. I mean, there's compost out there. There's 3 compost bins, but I didn't even see him really go towards them. But that's the neighbor that where they came up from. The neighbor doesn't have any dogs or anything. Most of the neighbors have dogs, but
They were just
So it
being,
might be,
but since they whacked her dog in the face,
yeah, they got my dog pretty good.
oh,
now that's going to be something you guys have got to figure out then, because if those bears aren't spooked off the property, they're going to continue that route,
mhm.
Yeah, I told them about
Then
this
again, they might.
system that Carolina told me about. There's like a alert. You can get like lights and sirens and shit, but there's so many different ways. He just feels like we'd have to get so many different ways they could come on. But I think just to have it around the house would be good. I'll have to look into it and just get it myself. He wouldn't be upset or anything, but and he doesn't sound excited about it, But we got to do what we can. That's why I got rid of chickens years ago, because we do not need that. We do not need to be attracting that kind of wildlife up here. We're in the wilderness. We're really out there, People
Yeah.
don't
Well, I would
realize it.
venture
Yeah.
you guys probably have mountain lions as well then, on top of the black bear.
Yep. All the fun stuff. We're in their place.
I know bear cubs can climb, but it's the mountain lions you hear that will climb up in a tree and then jump down on a jogger out in Orange County or the San Bernardino forest and stuff. So yeah, if you attract a cougar or a puma, you got a lot more trouble to worry about, I would say, than the bear. At least the bear is, they're kind of hit and miss. A cougar, if it mistakes you for prey and it's up in a tree, it just instinctively is going to pounce. It doesn't mean no harm, but yeah, tell the victim that once their scalp's been bitten into.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have game cameras out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because with the horses, even.
Yeah. Oh, I saw a great video of this farmer was loading up his truck of hay, and he had a bull there standing there, and the bull started going crazy and rammed his horns up against the truck because a bear was coming at his dude, and he literally saved the guy from the bear. It was super cool.
Well, yeah, bulls actually, if you've raised them, bulls can be defensive of their owners sometimes. Sometimes they can be too aggressive too. You got to put them down because of that. They can't get into the habit of leaning up and brushing up against their owner too much, because they might pin you against the fence by accident, crush your ribs. So
yeah,
it's one of those funny things with animals. You never know if they're going to be friend or foe until something happens.
If I put one in private chat, Bonnie, can you play it? Just a minute and a half?
Maybe.
Or do you want it in your email?
Private chat works.
Okay. It's for the Marines. It's
Oh,
for their
cool.
birthday.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I've been watching videos all day. Rangers, Marines,
Yes.
kind of all of them.
My two favorite Marines are here, Sean and Devil Dog. I don't know
Well,
very
thank you very much.
I know a few. Yes. It's good to see Devil Dog here. Bears had a honey live there. You guys
Yeah,
probably
Navy vet. I've heard about horses being that way too, where they'll pin you up against the wall. Yep.
because you forgot to bring granola bar.
How do
Oh
I
yeah, the horse. Elephants never forget, but horses have a pretty darn good memory too, folks.
Yeah.
So,
Good night,
yeah.
Caroline. Love you, honey. Oh, I'm so tired too.
Yeah, I
In case
know.
the dawn's there, be careful. Have a good
I
one,
know.
Carolina.
You did it. It's your fault. You did it.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what this Marine Corps clip is, if it
Oh,
is
it's
indeed
not
a
a
clip.
Marine Corps clip. It's just a tribute. It's just an ode.
Oh,
I
well,
didn't.
that'll work.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. I like her. I like
My
putting.
favorite
Okay.
statements about us were the ones that Reagan had, but I'll leave that alone for a minute. Go ahead.
All right, now listen up. This one's for all my magnificent leatherneck maniacs out there. Happy 250th freaking birthday to the finest fighting force that God ever stitched together on this green earth. I'm talking about the one and only United States Marine Corps. Let's go, baby! That's right, 250 years of kicking doors and stacking bodies and dragging freedom across this planet by its collar. And let me just say this, looking sexier in their dress blues than any man has a right to. Can I get an amen? And yes, this goes out to every single one
Amen.
of you devil dogs in that kennel. I mean, I'm talking to the grunts, who are my personal favorites out there, who eat crowns like they're eating energy gels. Shoot, this even goes out to you posts who swear up and down that you're basically recon because you use a stapler under fire. And let's not forget about our poor little pitiful boots who are still trying to figure out how to blouse their pants without looking like a busted can of biscuits. Look, I love all of y'all, so don't get your silkies all twisted up. Because remember, every Marine is family. From Tun's Tavern to Fallujah, Iwo Jima to Cabal, y'all have stood up, shipped out, and showed out. When the world needs just a little reminder of who the hell we are as a country, we send in the Marines. So pour that whiskey, light that cigar, and for the love of God, polish the damn EGA and walk around like the baddest SOBs on this earth, because you are. 250 years and still looking better than ever. Semper Fi, devil dogs. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Yes.
That's cute.
She's a cutie. I love her. She's fun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a nice little tribute from her.
I thought so.
Yeah.
And yeah, somewhere I have the T-shirt, because we always get our motivation T-shirts, at the PX, and I still have that one somewhere that reads, "When it absolutely, positively has to be destroyed overnight." And it reads USMC underneath. It's like, yeah, I like my Moto T-shirts.
Yeah.
That saved me from getting Moto tats, because there's always the one guy who's got to get the tat, EGA over his chest or his shoulder or whatever. It's like, you can keep the ink. I'm gonna buy a couple dozen shirts here. So.
We all ready to close this one up? And
250 years is crazy, isn't it? That is a long time.
it is.
Predates the Declaration of Independence by 6-7 months? July 7, November. So yeah, 8 months.
That is just wild.
Yeah.
Well, when you absolutely, want to make sure the British Crown's gonna, back off, you got to counter their Royal Marines. So we had to create our own Marines,
Oh,
So that was, between our Navy, our Navy and our Marine Corps are, I would say, we're a little bit pledged to something higher than whatever politician is in the office. We're a little bit different in that when the Republic was being founded, these were the founding branches. Congress had yet to appoint a budget for an army. And back then it was the militias. But when it came to the oceans, you had to have Navy and Marines. And go look at what we did in the Bahamas. That was like one of our first actions was battling the British in the Bahamas. And we had, people don't even know this. We had Marines at D-Day, that were on board the Navy ships, that were keeping order on the ships.
Yes.
So the Marines have been like in every theater, every war.
Yeah.
Weren't they the first ones on land?
D-Day was Army trying to be Marines. I'm sorry to say, obviously they didn't swim as well. Gosh, there's dark humor in that. Sorry, Army vets. But, if it comes to amphibious landings, the Marine Corps had that down, and that's, every Marine's a rifleman, but also every Marine knows how to swim. Army dogs, not so much. Sorry, guys. And I could say that because my grandfather in the Army was at D-Day. It's like, there were a few guys that their gear took them to the bottom of the Normandy instead of to the shore. They were over, they didn't float. That's the only way I can put it. So that's something, experience. Each branch, was kind of in their zone or in their niche. And the thing with the Marines is because you have to fight all over, we've learned to attack all over. And there's a good example right there. Navy vet, Marine attachment on the USS Saratoga. That's who your Marines are basically making sure your Navy captains and your Navy officers, your flag staff are not going to be effed with. They're basically your on-ship bouncers. They're your snipers from your crow's nest, your lookouts, and a few detail. So, it's not just the Marine Corps is in there kicking indoors like the young lady said, but we're making sure the Navy has basically bodyguards, and then in turn, the Navy provides us with outstanding corpsmen who rock corpsmen out there. I love that I can go and when I would do PT, the corpsmen were keeping up with us. They were the one Navy dogs. You don't have to wonder about whether they're going to pass a PFT. It's like, nope, they're jogging right beside us. So I always got some respect for corpsmen because those guys got the most honors out of anybody in the services. So,
Right.
and who my first, if you want to call it a truther read or a conspiracy theory book, my first book that was, beyond Red Pill, but okay, this is how stuff really works type book I ever read from one Marine named Smedley Butler, and it was War is a Racket. Okay, so I happened to read that a little bit before going to boot camp, so I knew what the scoop was going in, and that's War is a Racket. That should be mandatory reading for everybody in high school, like Jesse Ventura used to say before he lost his mind. So I'm pretty sure that if everyone read War is a Racket, we'd be a lot less enthusiastic about going to the Middle East for oil or going to Central America for cocaine or whatever. So just keep that in mind, guys.
Yeah, nobody wants to do that shit, Nobody does.
I see Devil Dogs calling out, yes, our taxis. My ass rides in Navy equipment, sir. That's right. Except when we parachute in and come up with the airborne. We also will occasionally parachute and show the airborne rangers what it's like to have another crazy devil dog coming from the sky instead of from the sea. Because we do have Marines with jump wings, Holy, I'm just remembering one of my drill instructors. He was involved in Grenada, So it's like he had some jump wings and this and that. And then he was third phase. He was like, I'm going to go back out, try again for force recon because I've done it before. And he felt like changing from being a drill instructor back to getting out, and doing the force recon deal. And so he would come in from the training and you could see the weight literally being sucked off of him as he was losing weight and doing all that extra cardio. And he was already in good shape. Staff Sergeant Butler. I still remember that Marine's name. He had that Cajun, South Carolina, like the accent somewhere. You couldn't place it if it was South Carolina or Louisiana or Florida, but it like everything had a rolling, like kind of a rumbling French vibe to it. So yeah, Butler was Butler, and we had Young, of course, a strong junior drill instructor, and then or excuse me, strong. Gosh, my brain is all messed up tonight. McBride was our senior drill instructor. I got to make sure I include senior drill instructor Gunny Sergeant McBride. We got to watch his promotion ceremony at the top of the Reaper. That was motivating. He re-enlisted and got promoted at the very top of the Reaper down there in Pendleton. That's something, when you wrap up a second phase in boot camp, that'd be your hump, after you did with the range and everything, and you go into third phase to get ready to be.
I do wish I would, but do you imagine how much more cockier I'd be if I had been a Marine?
That's scary.
Oh, freaking.
Well, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. The other drill instructor, Peterson, the joke, was kind of funny with him because his MOS was actually computers, but he's like a 6'6". Like he looks like the 6'6" drill instructor, but his MOS was computers. Thing was, the guy had a spot on Drew Carey Jim Carrey impression, because in the 90s, Jim Carrey was a big deal. And, it was like you'd have all these serious drill instructors who are going to punish you if you laugh. And then Peterson comes in front of you and just cracks a joke or an impression, and you lose your composure because he was good. He was very damn good. Next thing you know, you're on the quarter deck doing push-ups because you let out a chuckle, and you're doing push-ups because he got you to break for just a half second.
Yeah,
freaking Peterson. Oh man. there I have to admit though, the best zinger from the strong junior drill instructor, Staff Sergeant Young. Was there anyone in your litter who survived being thrown in the bag? Just like, wow. I could hold that one in. Is there anyone in your litter that survived being thrown in the bag? Because the bag implies they're gonna, throw you off the bridge into the water back in the day, when they would drown puppies. It's just like, wow. People wonder why I'm rough on these liberal kids or whatever we call these pink-haired kids. It's like because they ain't had to, have pressure on them. They haven't had to be accountable for their own stuff and so on. There's a reason why folks who have veterans as parents are raised, I would say, better and differently than just the generational civilians who didn't have any structure or order in their households.
Yes, I could see that.
So I'm kind of thankful for that. Just having the Marine Corps, I didn't get a lot out of it in the financial sense. I never used the GI Bill, and that's a educational story for another time. But fact is by having that little title on my resume, it's like doors open for you that never would open.
Yeah.
Oh wow, Navy vet, you had quite a distinguished crew there. Mardot and SEALs. Oof. Loving it. Anyway, I have Veterans Day tomorrow to go prep for, by the way. Speaking of our beloved Corps, tomorrow's Veterans Day.
That's
and
right.
I know I have to work. I'm going to call up the local Applebee's and see if they're still doing the Veterans Day there. And maybe after work, I'll go there. And, I encourage you guys to support them because they always set aside the falling chair or the chair for the fallen, the POW MIA, where it's the empty chair with the boots and the candles and all that. And so our Applebee's out here is very, very respectful of our service members. And I don't know if they're like that cross country, but I think they are. And so some of these folks, they just like, hey, we're Denny's. Here's some pancakes and bacon and sausage. Now get the F out of here. You know?
Yeah.
Whereas like, you know, Applebee's actually puts out a display and actually, you know, has a folded up flag, you know, in the corner with that and
That's
everything. It's
awesome.
like they put the extra touch, you know?
Yeah. They,
So, so you've got, go ahead, Bonnie. I'm rambling. Go ahead.
we usually have a parade and then we have a veterans memorial, and the veterans memorial, and it's happening nationwide. The wreaths across America, is that what it's called? Christmas wreaths for the graves of the fallen.
I didn't see
Yeah.
anything in their papers about any kind of veterans thing, although I know the Rotary Club is doing something, and that's the only thing that I really saw. And that was through a friend on Nextdoor. He just posted a poster. Media hasn't said nothing around here. There's such a disgrace. They just really are.
Well, I make it simple. If they support the veterans and in tangible ways other than a lip service, then you got to support them, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that, you know, thank you for your service. You want to thank me for our service? Vote in people who aren't going to get us in these messes anymore, and take accountability for your community and your county, your state, and your nation. Whether that means assembling or, you know, just being a better member of the public. You know, don't thank me for the service if it's hollow.
Yeah.
Being part of
That's
your
the only way I can
community,
put it.
making it better for all. That's
Yep.
United
Yeah, and yeah, well, Mary Freeland is posting the reference to War is a Racket. If you guys look for it, the PDF for it is free on, I believe it's either the National Archives site or a couple other places. Smedley Butler only wrote about 28 pages, but right there he reveals the United Fruit Corporation. He reveals, which, by the way, they became Chiquita Banana that's in your grocery stores today. He revealed a few other things, and he's also Smedley's the one who called out Prescott Bush and the fascists that were in Congress that were going to overthrow Roosevelt. I mean, I like FDR, but you don't overthrow a sitting president. Case in point, the scandal we're doing now, where we found out we had a president and some people who were upset that they lost, that Hillary lost in 2016, so they tried to overthrow a sitting president. So we got a lot going to come out, and you know, it's thanks to our veterans that we're still getting civics education. Everything that National Assembly, you know, is teaching, it was set up for us by veterans. So my forebears and some of your forebears are trying to make sure the American people still know what's going on and what's going right. And I hope if you guys were on last Thursday night's national call, for example, when we talk about the Army Field Training Manual 2000-25, now you have bar attorneys trying to create a new version of it to sell on Amazon to mislead people with edited parts and parts that are removed because they're quote unquote obsolete. See,
no.
it's literally the bar attorneys versus we the people. It's literally the guys who want to get into the peerage system and be esquires and kings and nobles versus we who say there are no kings and there are no titles of nobility. So there will be a time for choosing and picking sides, and I hope you all pick well. You know,
It's true. All right, y'all. I'm gonna close this one up. There's backstage link if anyone wants to come up and ask questions, talk. I think Dee got tired. Yep, had to leave.
Yeah, I can stay around for another 5 or 10 minutes if you guys want backstage, and then I gotta, like I say, get my stuff prepped and ready. I have a long day of work ahead of me tomorrow. Plus, like I said, I gotta take off to Applebee's, but somewhere in there too, I gotta go to Great Clips, and I'm gonna get a haircut from them. You know, why not?
Right.
And Who knows? Maybe I'll go to 2 restaurants tomorrow, but I'm definitely in the mood for like just some type of chicken and rice pilaf. Nothing fancy, just something humble, and basically connect with other Marines and vets that'll be around. That's something. We're also that's one thing. No matter where we've served, we're also one big community. So
Yes.
my vets in the chat, God bless y'all, and yes, Jerry's right. The bar is the deep state.
Yes.
And
Thank you all for joining us tonight. Enjoyed it. It was a good topic.
Oh yeah. And one of these days, me and Navy vet are going to have to talk backstage or whatever. I mean, it seems like we have all these mutual interests,
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all have a good night. God bless you. And come up if you want to talk.
Yep, there's the link, guys.